genetic health issues,
Mm-hmm.
is there a specific one that we are talking
Mm-hmm.
about, or any health disease can be
Mm-hmm.
genetic?
Right. So I think when it comes to genetics, right? One thing that we need to understand is that every single thing that you see on your body is stemming from your genes. What is your genes? So, for example, your eye color, right? Your eye color, there's a specific part of your genes that basically translates to your eye color. The fact that you're looking very beautiful, you have a facial features, these all are it's like a mirroring effect of what is written in your genes. For example, so if you go inside my book, right? These are like when you're reading it, right? It's basically you're basically reading something that I have written. You're not, making anything out of a thin air. That is exactly what genes are. Genes are our building blocks. What makes you joy, your height, all these kind of things are, encoded in your genes. Okay, so there are naturally when a man and a woman meet, so the man carries two alleles. They are like two copies of the gene, and the woman carries two copies of the other gene. So these two copies, one comes from the mother, and the other comes from the father. We all have two of them. Okay, now because of we call it mutation. So, for example, when you have even two twins, okay, that are not identical, when they are in the womb, the mutations can actually happen, and so they could be related. Fraternal twins can have mutations in their gene. Mutations are sometimes good, sometimes bad, and when they happen in the gene, okay, over time they can actually be disease. They can actually cause diseases. So, for instance, when me when a person is even could actually have genes that are really good and inherit really good genes from their mom and their father, right? Over time, if I am not sleeping, if I'm always under stress, if I am not really, exercising. Now, I wish I had yeah, let me use this. Let me use this paper, for example, right? So these are my genes, right? I inherit this clean gene from my parents, okay? Over time, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not eating well, I'm just living my life anyhow. And I am putting so much stresses on this gene, right? So what I do is I am basically changing the form of the gene. Now, guess what? The content has not changed, but I've changed the form.
Mm,
So, if unfortunately I go and meet a woman who also maybe has a clean gene, and then I make a child with her, essentially I'm passing on this faulty gene that I have changed with my lifestyle to my kids. Now, when that kid also, when those kids also remember they will have a clean because this is the mother's one and this is my one. They will have a clean one and a distorted one, right? A one that is actually like being sort of like folded, right? Let me just use the word for the time being. Now they do have this. Now imagine that kid also passes this one on to their kids, right? And those kids also go and marry a woman who has actually damaged their genes. What essentially happens is when their kids inherit these two, now there is a problem. Now they have higher chances of developing diseases. Now, of course, there are different sites of the gene that will basically mediate. Mediating means that will cause disease or not. So imagine if this changes has happened in the part of your gene that mediates diabetes, right? Now you're gonna have susceptibility to diabetes, and over time it can actually express the diabetes. Okay, now with that being said, you can actually inherit the disease, the trait, or the disease from your parent, both parents. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have diabetes or you're going to have hypertension or you're going to have health issues. What this means is that you have the gene inside your body. However, it is a matter of whether you want to trigger it or not trigger it. It's like having a light bulb in your house. I mean, I think in the West, every household has a light bulb. but you decide to switch it on or switch it off. That is exactly the same thing with the genes. You can have a gene that is like a disease gene, but with your lifestyle, it can get triggered or it cannot get triggered. So, for example, two people, right? Two, say me and you are sisters, and I mean we are brothers. You're my sister and I'm your brother. We could actually have, inherited the same pattern of gene from our parents, but maybe due to my lifestyle, at the age of 30, I will actually get the disease, and you, because you know that this is a gene, this is a disease that has been passed on from our parents. I mean, we had no say in that. We didn't do
Yeah.
anything about it, right?
Yeah.
We've got it. So now, since we've got it, how can we make sure that we suppress that gene, although we have it? There's nothing we can do about it. How can we do to sort of like suppress that gene so that it does not, the disease that does not trigger for it to be expressed in our body? Now, you could be on a lifestyle of I'm eating well, I'm sleeping 8 hours a day, I'm drinking my water, I'm making sure that stressful people are not in my life, I'm cutting them off. And then I could be drinking, smoking, not eating well, just living my life anyhow. Over time, I'm basically telling the gene, you know what, switch on. Because my lifestyle is basically triggering the gene to be switched on. And when that switches on, that is when and only when I will start having the disease. And when the disease is actually on, it is still not a death sentence. Because the same way I switched it on, and remember, for the gene to be switched on, it does not take 1 day or 2 days.
Okay.
Again, remember, there are some people, for you to be healthy, it means that you inherited one healthy gene from your mother and the diseased one from your father. Okay? Now, sometimes when both diseases are inherited from childhood, you can actually have the disease from childhood. And that point, literally, like you just have to go to the doctors, and the doctors will give you the best care plan. But when you inherit a good gene and you trigger it, even when the disease is expressed, it doesn't necessarily mean that is a death sentence. It only means that because it took some time and you neglected yourself for the disease to now be expressed and to be manifesting in your body, you will now have to take 3 or 4 steps back. And the things that you used to do, you have to now start, changing your lifestyle. And then over time, as you're sleeping well, you're resting well, you're not putting your body under so much stress, over time, that disease could be reversed back because the genes will be like, oh, there is not so much stress on us. So why are we switched on? Like the person has made adjustments. So let's just go back to sleep, And then you can actually go back to your normalcy, right? And if, for example, I have triggered the gene and it's in you, but you never triggered it, and you lived a very good lifestyle to the point where you actually are married and you got kids. Now, because you know that your family has a diabetic trait, or they have the diabetic disease in the bloodstream, bloodline, what you do is you let your kids know right from the jump when they start getting, being adult. I mean, when they are children, they eat whatever you tell them to eat, right? But when they are adult, you get them to say, hey, listen, this is the disease in our bloodline. And so right from the jump, if anybody is drinking alcohol, don't drink alcohol. If anybody is eating a lot of salt, you don't have that luxury because you have a disease in your bloodline. If anybody is affording not to, sleep enough, don't do that. So remember, you have successfully, suppressed your gene, and now your child has also inherited that gene. When that child has inherited the gene, it means that the gene is dormant, right, in the child, because you suppressed it. Now, if you put that child on so much of a long time, and then that child also has a kid, remember, this is a second generation dormant gene.
Yeah.
At some point, that gene is still there. However, it is basically like a dead gene. It's irrelevant because it's been suppressed so much that it's there, but it's not functional because you've actually done the work. And so if you have a family and you're coming from a family of diabetic family, as soon as you know or you realize, you actually go on an anti-diabetic lifestyle. As soon as you realize that you have hypertension in your family, you go on antihypertensive lifestyle. As soon as you realize that you have dementia in your family, you go on anti-dementia lifestyle. So it is as easy as that. Now, let me go a little bit deeper into this. Do you know that high blood pressure, it is actually not a disease, it's a consequence of something deeper. Okay. So essentially what happens is when you go to your doctor, the first thing that they check is your blood pressure. This is a good indication that everything is sort of like fine. That doesn't mean that you're healthy. It just means that, because when there is something going on underneath in your body, your blood pressure is one of the first things to actually go up. It's basically saying, we call it homeostasis, right? So according to Le Chatelier's law, I don't want to bore you too much, but I want to go deeper so you understand. When an object, say for instance, this thing, right? This paper, right? This is a natural state, okay? When I'm leaving it like this, it is natural state like this. But when I exert a force on it, guess what? It will basically crease. The reason why it's creasing is not because I'm putting the force on it, one, but also is creasing to minimize the forces that I'm exerting on it. So it's adapting to the forces. That's exactly what your body does. So when you're not eating well, when you're not sleeping well, when you're not drinking enough water, your blood pressure will go up because when you're not eating well, when you're not drinking enough water, your blood volume is lower than the actual person that drinks like 2 liters of water. So when that happens, your heart will have to pump harder because your brain needs the oxygen anyways. So when your blood volume is low or is not enough, it means that your heart has to do more of the work. And so automatically, your blood pressure will go up. But if you're drinking enough water and diluting your blood, if your blood volume is enough, you're eating well and stuff, over time, guess what? Your blood pressure will come down. If you're having diabetes and it's the disease already expressed, what you can do is make sure that you're cutting your sugar levels. And when I say sugar, I don't mean the actual processed sugar. That one, it should not even be in your diet in the first place. But when you start eating complex carbs, now, complex carbs, what are complex carbs? Complex carbs are carbs that are very difficult for your body to digest. Okay. For example, your brown rice. Your brown rice, when you eat brown rice, your body finds it difficult to digest. So over time,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
yeah,
Am I hearing? Because were we not all here when they were saying the white rice is not good, the brown one is good?
yeah, the brown rice. That's what I'm talking about.
Uh-huh. And
The
you're
brown
saying the
rice.
body finds it difficult to digest the brown rice?
Yes, and it's a good thing.
Okay.
It's a good thing because when you introduce the white rice to your body, it's already in the carbs form, so it just breaks it down and it transfers into fat, right?
Okay.
But when you're introducing the complex carbs like the brown rice, it is going to take a long period of time, so it is slowly releasing the energy,
Okay.
slow release of energy.
Now I do.
So it is not gonna, and when you eat anything brown, you can see that you actually go a longer period of time before you actually get hungry because it's only being metabolized when your body needs and requires it. But when you introduce the bankuns and the fufus and it's already like simple carbs, so it breaks it down really quickly. And then the surplus will then now go into your fat cells, and then that's how you actually like get fat, right? So when people think that when they want to reduce their diet, they think it's portion control. Yes, portion control is very important, but you need to also know, if, for example, if you're eating like, a bowl of white rice and you actually want to reduce your weight, go a bowl of brown rice. You are actually eating the same portion, but then the rate at which the carbohydrate is being released in your bloodstream is lower. So over time, you will reduce weight.
Alone with God. Oh, we're ready to the air. Can you what's it? How fast
Don't
go
mind
on?
him. Don't mind him. I mean, you can eat your fufu and a ponche. That's fine. But again, of course, different people have different metabolisms, right? Some people have fast metabolism, and so when you don't know your body and you are actually doing things anyhow, that's when you actually increase your chances of a lot of metabolic diseases like diabetes and insulin resistance, high blood pressure, and all these diseases. And And they talk about, most of the time you hear people say, oh, black people are more susceptible to these kind of diseases. And I mean, of course, our genes, of course, because of the stress, we actually very much of all the time, we are on the go, we are always stressing and stuff like that. And we have the genetic susceptibility, and that's true. However, it's a choice. You can actually trigger it or not. Like I said earlier on. I don't know if you have any
So
question.
I think that what you are talking about, we need to have conversations with our parents. If
Yeah.
there are people that did not live with their parents or don't even communicate with them often, but I think having a conversation on health with them, because
Yeah.
some people they don't open up. Maybe they
Yeah.
are
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
struggling with certain sickness and disease, but they will not tell you. But
Yeah.
if you are
Yeah.
close to your parents, then I would say that like open your eye and monitor them. If your parents have blood pressure, then you know that obviously you also have that gene. There's a probability that you can get high blood pressure or like
Yeah.
diabetes or any of these sicknesses that
Yeah.
we are
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about. So that's when you now go to the anti lifestyle, like
Yeah.
anti
Anti whatever disease you have's lifestyle. Yes.
lifestyle.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then somebody was talking about PCOS, which I know we'll talk about.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
I don't know if they all like, so what diseases qualify to be under the genetic category?
Every disease that
Okay.
you can think of comes from your genes, because see, your genes make who you are. Without the genes, when your genes shut down, you are dying, literally. So they are your building block. Okay. Now I said, even the fact that your eyes are the way it is right now, it is someone that is detecting how it should look like. Okay. So if you wake up and you've gone blind, okay, it means that the genes the genes that basically detect and determine, oh, your eyes should be working, have shut down. And how can you actually shut these genes down? You can do so by the external factors that you actually introduce to it. Remember, when you apply certain things to forces to an object, the object actually changes its shape to sort of like decrease the forces of it, right? On it. So every single disease, even the fact that you will go bald, depends on what is happening in your genes.
Okay. And are we going to like distinguish communicable diseases from these ones? Because somebody even put it here that is HIV from the gene. Are they all part of it?
No. So again, even your chances of actually getting HIV is still somehow determined by the genes. For example, I could, if I have genes, I inherited really strong immune system, right, from my parents. Now remember, how do you? So normally, people that come from African backgrounds tend to have a lot of like tend to have a stronger immune system. Why is that? Because the more exposed you are to bacteria, to viruses, if you are born in Africa and you spend 8 months there, and 8 years there, and you don't die, it means you have a very solid immune system, because what your immune system have been trained by a lot of bacteria, a wide range of bacteria and viruses. So if you survive that, you can actually survive anywhere else in the world. So imagine a person who has survived in Africa sleeping with a woman or a man who has HIV, right? And a person who's literally grew up in a very clean environment, whose immune system has not been trained to be very robust. The person in Africa's chances of getting the HIV is very low compared to the person who's grown up in a clean environment. This is
This
because
one,
that one.
I beg keep it because right now people are just going to run with it.
Oh, no, 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 no. I mean, again, it's chances, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you should go and risk it. Okay. Now, so that is there are some diseases that, of course, is taken outside, but when you actually get HIV from the outside and you actually take it inside you, now it is going to alter your genes, and so those genes, if you pass it on, then it's gonna have implications on your kids. So every disease that you actually get, somehow your genes have a role to play in their expression or manifestation, if you like.
Okay. And so this is when the lifestyle and the diet now will come in. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. The thing is,
so
even a person who has HIV, for instance, if you just are reckless and you actually go and catch HIV. Person A who has HIV and is living very well, eating healthy, exercising, taking their medication, sleeping well, would have a higher life expectancy compared to a person who has HIV and still is not sleeping well, still is not eating well, still is not drinking their water, is not taking their medication. Do you get it? So you are basically have a say in basically your life choices and when and how you're actually gonna die somehow. And I know it sounds weird, but yeah, it is what it is like that. And someone said epigenetics. It is true. So epigenetics is basically you may not. What essentially epigenetics is that back in the day we didn't actually know that even behaviors right could be inheritable, right? So for instance, I was born and I started, when I was born I was not like this. I just went to the gym and I built some muscles, right? There are actually chances that my child will actually be born this way without them going to the gym. And it's actually crazy. Back in the day, we didn't actually know that this could be a thing, but through epigenetics, we know that you can change the shape of the gene, not so much the content, but then even the shape can be inheritable by your kids. And so I was not born like this. I was born skinny. I'm a skinny man, just like the average Ghanaian man. But I have gone to the gym, and so my male kids, could actually have muscles without even going to the gym. So that is epigenetics. And also the same way, even if you're born not really smart and you force yourself to go to school, you force yourself to change the shape of your genes, you'll actually have a higher chance of actually having kids who are really smart, even though you yourself are smarter than you, because you've changed the shape of your genes and not the content necessarily. That's epigenetics.
I ready Dora. Dora crap. The area we. So without these assistants, the masters matter. You are.
I mean, not everyone wants muscles, so some people may actually want skinny people, and this is just an example for
Yeah.
epigenetics. Someone said.
So I think that at this point we can just single out a couple of them. So we know high blood pressure is very common. A lot
Very,
of
very
people
common.
had their parents with high blood pressure. They also
Yeah,
have
yeah,
high
yeah,
blood pressure. So now, how do we deal with the lifestyle and the diets that can
yeah,
correct? So
yeah.
when we talk about that, I'll talk about multivitamins and medicine, and local medicine, and just say it's a
That's a very, very good question. Again, like I said, high blood pressure is not a disease; it's a consequence. It's a reflection of something not going well in your body. Okay, so when homeostasis is thrown off, that is how you actually have high blood pressure. Now, of course, stress is the number one cause of high blood pressure. Stress.
yeah.
You can have the gene that we talked about that. So don't worry about the gene. We're talking about you actually having the gene triggered and you actually have high blood pressure. Stress, number one. Two, your diet. Your diet is absolutely very important. And when I say stress, I'm talking about even sleep. So within stress, let's unpack it. Your sleep habit. Some people are so toxic that they want to always fight. All these things could actually trigger your blood pressure to actually go up, right? So this all comes under the umbrella of stress. Okay, your eating habit, your exercise levels. Now, stress is one of the number one killers in the Western world. From work, from parenting, and all these kind of things. They can actually stress can actually kill you. High levels of cortisol is the number one cause of heart issues, which includes blood pressure. It could also cause angina and eventually heart failure because your heart cannot take so much cortisol levels. Okay, your diet. Now, see, America hasn't got the best of the food ingredients. So if you live in America or you live in a Western world and you're not getting really organic food, and beyond that, you're also eating processed food, you stand a very high chance of actually developing high blood pressure because those kind of foods are not meant to be in your body because they are processed foods. Some of these foods cannot even be digested. Some of them contain microplastics. Some of them contain, PFAS. Some of them contain certain things that are not even going to be able, your body hasn't got the proteins and the enzymes to digest them. And so when that happens, it's going to cause so much harm inside your body, right? Exercise. Now, this one is a big one. It's a massive one. Now, let me basically establish this with you guys. You can go to your doctors and you have pre hypertension. Maybe your blood pressure is 140 over 80. Let's just say. I mean, it's high, but it's not too high to the point where you're like, oh, I'm gonna die of stroke tomorrow. No, but let me tell you, your blood pressure could be 140 over 80, right? And you're exercising, you're basically eating well. You stand a chance of even longer than a person who has 120 over 80 who is not exercising and not eating well.
Okay.
Because what essentially happens is when you have your blood pressure high and you're exercising, you're creating nitric oxide, and the nitric oxide, as you exercise, they basically dilate your blood vessels so your blood flow can actually like occur nicely without having restrictions from your blood vessels. So diet, stress levels, reduce it. Exercise, very, very important. And now when we go into the diet part, it's going to be so long, but I always say that when we talk about diet is very, very important. And what is healthy diet may actually not be what is healthy, because a lot of people think that they are eating healthy by eating banku and okro. That is not necessarily a healthy diet. Now, again, I am very, very careful when I say these things, because when you live in the Western world and it's winter time and you're eating banku and okro, it is not going to digest. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So depending on the weather, depending on the location you find yourself, if you're in Ghana and you're eating your banku and okro, by all means, please go ahead. If you're in Ghana and you're eating your yam and palm nut, I don't know, stew, by all means, go ahead. But in the Western world, especially where I live right now in New York, when you're eating that kind of food, remember, even if you leave it there on touch for 20 minutes, by the time you come back, the oil is literally like not running anymore. Do you get it? So that's exactly what it's going to be doing in your body. And so depending on the weather, you actually adjust your diet to go with it. Summertime, by all means, eat your fufu, eat your heavy foods. Wintertime, adjust it to consume more greens, because your metabolism actually slows down depending on the temperature that is outside. And so, if you go to Ghana, for instance, whenever you go to Ghana, you can eat whatever you want, and you find out that you're actually, losing weight. You didn't add anything, because the sun is the number one factor of increasing metabolism. And when you have the sun, your metabolism will absolutely increase. And so that is that. But also, let's just say that you just went to your doctors, right? And he's monitored you for a bit and your blood pressure is just keep going up. Essentially, what will happen is he's going to have to put you on a medication, because when you have your high blood pressure up for a long period of time, it means that you stand a chance of developing or undergoing strokes, and we don't want that. So for preventive measures, he will put you on medication. Now, initially, they will start off with a low dose of medication, and then they will increase it and then monitor you if it is actually working or not. Now, remember that, like I said earlier on, high blood pressure is a lifestyle disease. So whilst the doctor now is doing the preventive approach so that you don't develop strokes and heart failures, because that one we can't, when that happens, there's no way we can actually do anything about it. In the meantime, he's put you on a medication. That medication is not for you to think, oh, I'm on a high blood pressure medications for the rest of my life. No, the mindset is, this is preventive whilst I am doing adaptation to my lifestyle. So the moment you start adapting your lifestyle and you're on a medication, your blood pressure drops, and then the doctor will see that it actually dropping so much. And then guess what? He would take you off that medication. So high blood pressure, diabetes, and all these kind of diseases, they are not a death sentence. You can actually have these stuff going on, and then the moment the doctor puts you on a preventive lifestyle, preventive medication, you can now make a deliberate effort to reduce that, and so that you can be off the medication, because that medication, guess what, has a lot of side effects too. So you
And that's
don't
one
want to
thing
be
that is less talked about. Like, they're only
absolutely.
promoting the medicine, because that's their job. They are going to give it to you. So I think that we still have that responsibility to take care of ourselves and work on the lifestyle, like you are saying. If you know you have high blood pressure and you're always engaging in stressful situations, drama, Ghana TikTok,
Nam tokwa.
this person is fighting this person,
Yeah,
and a
yeah.
beef. And like if you are in unhealthy relationships, you have problem with your family members, your parents, your kids, I think it will only get worse. So you can be on the medication, but your lifestyle will still make it worse, and you won't see the
Absolutely.
improvement. Yeah.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are going to have to be on a medication for the lifetime because the root cause of the problem, you've not actually solved it, right?
Solved.
Sometimes it's in a toxic situation that actually stresses you. So you can be on a medication whilst you're in that situation. Once you move from that situation and you actually do lifestyle changes, you realize that you actually don't need it anymore. Now, the problem here is that when you start being on a medication, now it becomes tricky because your mind is basically saying, I'm well because of that medication. So to take you off that medication is going to be tough, even though the medication is not really contributing to your well-being, because it did contribute, but now you're actually changed your life and you're healthy now. You will still have to go through a little bit of, therapy. And if you're not a strong-minded person, you may not be able to even get off it because now you're panicking that, oh, I'm not taking the medication anymore. What if? Do you know what I'm saying? So your doctor, you have to work with your doctor gradually. And sometimes you have to even go to cognitive therapy for them to actually help you realize that you're actually not sick anymore. You're fine. So then slowly, your mind will have to accept that you're fine. And then, you just keep on that lifestyle and you're going to be fine. At any point, if your doctor actually sees that it is actually starting again, he's going to put you on it. But do not start any medication thinking this is a lifetime thing. When you start like that, trust me, that same medication that is you're taking to prevent something will be the same to kill you. Because remember, they also have a lot of side effects. Because this pure chemical, was never meant to be in your body in the first place. Okay. Now, when they are there, although they are doing something, they are also going to cause another thing. And so by the time you realize, you start with one pill and then something else starts again, and then you're going to have to do another thing. And so it's like you're giving medication to treat a symptom. And one of the things that about the orthodox medicine is that we treat symptoms. We don't really treat the disease.
The diseases.
So it is, no, I wouldn't even use the word treatment. I use the word management. We manage the disease, not really the root cause of the problem. For example, I could put my hands on fire that everybody that's watching me right now, if we are 57 people, 52 people are vitamin D deficient. And if you're not fixing this, you will die early.
And that was another question I was going to ask, because we know that in Ghana, the sun is out, everybody is bubbly. Over here, especially in winter, there's no sun anywhere. So the next question I was going to ask is, do you think that people in Ghana still need supplements like vitamin D supplements, or you think they have the sun so they are good? Because it looks like there's conflicting information on that.
Fantastic.
Some
Now,
will say, oh, there's sun over there, so they don't need the. Some say the sun is out, but you still need to take the supplement. So, like, is that something to talk about?
Okay, this is a very, very good question. Now, there has been, let me say this. There has been absolute link. This is a causation, not a correlation. A causation link between vitamin D deficiency and early death in Black people in the Western world, and a lot of medical conditions onset in the Western world. In Africa, if you're living in somewhere like Ghana, you do not need to take vitamin D supplements, okay? Let me rephrase. You do not need to take vitamin D supplements if you spend at least an hour in the sun. Now, a lot of people do think that, oh yeah, the sun is out too hard. I don't want to be in the sun. Do you know that the reason why you are in Africa, and because you have this skin color, is you were meant to be in Africa. This ambient is not our natural habitat.
That's
So
a
when
whole
you're
new
here,
debate.
absolutely. When you're here, you've been taking, it's like taking a fish from the water and putting him on a tree. You know? The fish is probably going to survive for a bit, but the chances of the life expectancy on the tree compared to it being in the water decreases. right? So already you stand a higher chance of dying in this Western world. If I mean, of course, we have we have healthcare, great healthcare and stuff like that. But in the genetics and the your natural habitat, if we had the healthcare system that we have in the Western world in Africa, the black people will actually age well and we would live longer. So let me go back. I digress a little bit. If you live in Ghana, for instance, you do not need to take vitamin D supplements if you're spending at least an hour in the sun. Because remember, how vitamin D is basically produced is it needs the rays, the sun rays need a direct hitting on your skin for the vitamin D to be produced and then be activated by your kidneys. So if you have kidney issues, then okay, your doctor may put you on vitamin D supplements in Ghana. But if your kidneys are fine and you're spending 1 hour at least in Ghana in the sun, it is absolutely not needed. But also, a lot of people do try to prevent the sun in Ghana by wearing some clothing because they don't want it to hit their skin. And so you may be living in Ghana and still not getting your vitamin D levels. And that's quite bad because that's the whole point of the sun shining there, because this skin has to be there. Okay. So you don't need to. At least spend an hour in the sun and you have your optimum vitamin D levels in your bloodstream. And that is the best. Now, when you go to Ghana, if you live in the West, as soon as you land in Ghana, you see this like this freedom breeze that comes. As soon as the sun hits your skin, you realize that you are actually like really cool. Like all your depression. Somebody says, oh, when I'm in the West, I get depressed. And as soon as I land in Ghana, it's because of the sun, because your vitamin D levels start going up automatically. And with the sun one, you cannot have toxic levels of vitamin D. When your body absorbs what it needs in an hour, it stops taking more.
Okay, so I have a question.
Go
At
ahead.
what time is it best to expose the body to the sun? And at what time does it get bad? Because we still have like information saying the sun
Yeah.
is causing skin cancer. So like,
Yeah.
where do we draw the line?
That's
Do I have to get out in the morning to get
That's an
the
amazing
sunrise, or like?
That's an amazing question, actually. You know, when the sun is out and you're actually seated under a tree or something, okay, you're still getting, even if it's not hitting you directly, you're still getting your vitamin D.
Okay.
The rays are still around, okay. So it basically because your adipose tissue under your skin are the ones that are actually gonna activate the vitamin D production. So when you start seeing like little sweats on your skin when you're in Africa or something, that's when you see that vitamin D production is actually initiated, because that's a reaction that is going on. Now, yes, when you have a high level of sun on your skin, you stand a very good chance of actually developing skin cancers. But you're a black person. That's why you have the melanin. You can still have skin cancer as a black person when you're exposed to a high amount of sun rays.
Like the one in Texas?
Not even that is you're fine. You're actually fine. You're actually fine. Now, a white person in Ghana, in Africa, stands a higher chance of developing skin cancer because they don't have the melanin. That's why you have the melanin to protect you. Okay, so it will cause a bit of tanning and darkening, but essentially, skin cancers are not something that you should be worried about as a black person. You should actually worry about not having enough vitamin D in your blood, because that is the actual issue, not the skin cancer. Okay.
So what about? Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was going to ask like vitamin. I've heard vitamin D, K. Is it K2 or K3?
K2.
So like that mixture, because I heard that mixture not so that good. Don't just take. It's like every day you people are bringing new things. How do we even keep up at this point?
See, it is very important that you heed information and you heed it very well, because see, what we are talking about here, a lot of doctors, clinicians do not actually know this. And I know this for a fact because this is not really taught in medical school like that. Unless he's actually passionate about it and he's actually doing his own research, he may not know this information, because he's taught that if a person comes with blood pressure and they persist for a month, put him on metformin, put him on beta blockers, put him on all these dilators. And so he may not necessarily know, right? Now, when you're taking just the vitamin D, and I'm telling you guys, take the D3 because that's the one that your body breaks down easily. There are so many forms, and you ask yourself, if the information is out there known that only the D3 works, why are there other forms of vitamin D? Because it's a money machine. If you don't know and you go and take anyone, you may be taking it, but it's not getting absorbed in the first place. Okay? They are making their money, and you are just taking rubbish in your body without getting the actual benefits of why you're taking it. Okay? So you take the vitamin D3, very important, the D3. Okay? Now, when you're taking, the reason why we take it with the K2 is vitamin K2. Again, the K2, what it does is when the D3 actually causes calcium to be absorbed in your body. The reason why the D3 is so important is because I can hear myself. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I was getting some feedback from this. Okay, let's try again. Is it okay now?
Yeah. Hello.
Are you still here?
I can still hear myself. I didn't know my voice is so bad.
Everybody's voice is good.
I think now I can't hear myself, so it's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Good. So the reason why vitamin D3, when you are deficient in vitamin D3, is so painful is that your body absolutely needs calcium for every other processes that happens in your body. Every other process that happens in your body. And we call it vitamin D3, but essentially it should not be called vitamin D3. I'm writing a book currently called Small But Mighty. It should be called a hormone D3 because every single cell of your body actually has a vitamin D receptor. Every single cell, from your hair follicles to your toe. So when you're lacking in that, it basically throws off your whole homeostasis, right? Now, when the reason why people that have vitamin D3 deficiency, they also have a lot of pain, bone aches, and tiredness and fatigue is because when you lack vitamin D in your bloodstream, what essentially happens is your calcium regulation is impaired, meaning it's thrown off. And when calcium is impaired, guess what? Your body needs the calcium anyway, so it's going to take it from your bone. And when your bones start, when the calcium that is stored in your bones, for your bones to work properly, for you to be healthy, is now, your body is now taking it from the bones. Guess what? You have bone aches. Because why are you taking from me? I need it. It's like, oh, but I need it too. Your heart is saying, oh, you bone, relax. Because I need to beat for you to function. Your brain is saying, I need it. So then they'll be taking it from the bones. And when they're taking it from the bones is not going to start suffering. And so you start having, pain in your bones and stuff like that. Now, because when calcium is impaired, you have all this pain. When you're taking the vitamin D3, now you're basically restoring the calcium absorption in your bloodstream. Okay? Now, this is where the K2 comes in. When you take the D3 and you don't take the K2, your body now is like, oh, now I'm taking the calcium from your food. But the calcium is not meant to be in your bloodstream because when it's in your bloodstream, calcium is very rigid. And you know that the human bone is actually it's denser than steel. It's harder than steel. Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. So when the calcium is now flowing in your bloodstream where they are not meant to be there, it calcifies. It makes your blood arteries and your capillaries and your blood vessels very rigid. And when they become rigid, guess what? That's your death right there. Because now your heart has to pump harder. And at some point when it's not able to pump, imagine pumping something through steel. Because your bones are stiffer than steel. So your heart will just give up, right? You just have a heart attack. So the K2 is doing, okay, you're getting the calcium now, fine. What is going to happen is it's going to drive it to the right places. So cleaning it from your bloodstreams, right, from your vasculatures, from your blood vessels, and taking it to where it had already started taking it from the bones. So we take it to the bones. So now you start feeling, oh, very good. It will take it to your teeth. It will take you to the right places. So then your blood vessels become very smooth and very elastic for you to be. Because when you're vitamin D deficient, you will find out that you're always stiff. It's like you're always stiff because your calcium regulation is not happening correctly. Okay? So the K2...
How long do you have to take the D3 supplements? I think it has to be all the time, right?
No, so very good question. In the summertime, I will advise you not to take your D3 or
Oh,
K2 if only you are exposing yourself to sun at least for an hour. Okay.
that's
Wintertime, it is an absolute requirement. You have to be on vitamin D3 and K2 wintertime. Now, if you want to also increase your chances of it getting absorbed, make sure you're taking it with magnesium. Absolutely important. Magnesium helps with the calcium absorption. Sorry, vitamin D3 absorption. Because one thing is actually taking the vitamin D3, one and the K2. One thing is actually it's getting absorbed to your body.
hey,
Yes.
that's so much.
Because see, the more melanated you are, the more black melanated you are, the less it is possible for you to absorb vitamin D in your food that you eat. Because it was meant to be gotten from the sun.
Mm-hmm.
So the white counterparts are more likely to get vitamin D from their food easily. But melanin interferes with vitamin D because if you were getting enough vitamin D from the sun, because we were meant to be in Africa, remember? If you're getting your dosage in the sun and you're also absorbing it from your gut, it will be toxic for you. So your body has had a very intelligent way of saying, you because of this melanin, you have to get it from the sun. So you're not going to absorb it from your food. But a white person who lives in places that there's no sun, he will absorb it easily from the gut. Are you following?
Okay, so now I get it. When you explain it to the people that are confused.
Yeah.
If you look
Yeah.
like me, then
Yeah.
naturally your body is supposed to get it from the sun.
Yes.
But if you look like this,
Yes.
oh no, they don't have the melanin.
Yes.
So they can
Yes.
even get it from the food. So right now,
Absolutely.
if you look like me and you are not getting it from the sun, and
Yes.
also soon your body is not getting it from the food.
The food, yes.
So now, when you even take the multivitamin, you still need the magnesium.
Higher dose.
You
Yeah,
can
and the magnesium. Yes.
absorb it. Hey,
Yes.
how do I
So
answer?
so it gets tricky. A lot of people do say, "Oh, I'm taking a vitamin D, but I'm not feeling well." Because if you're not feeling well, it's because your body is not even absorbing in the first place. You can take something and think you're eating healthy, but then it's not getting absorbed. So if you want to increase the chances of it getting absorbed, you take magnesium. Magnesium will increase the chances of vitamin D3 being absorbed. And the thing is, it could actually also get absorbed, but it will not be activated. Your body will probably get rid of it easily. So to increase your chances, yes. Because see, when something is not meant to be there through the route in which it took to get there, your body is an intelligent system. It will get rid of it. So you can actually go and take a medication, and the medication is not working because your body is saying, this was not meant to be here. Your immune cells is saying, why is this thing here? It wasn't meant to be here. So let me get rid of it, right? So over time, it will actually get, oh, okay. This person is constantly introducing it. Okay, maybe it's meant to be here, So that's how, so how long do you have to take vitamin D3 for? My advice is before you actually start taking anything, go to your PCP, go to your GP, go to your primary care physician, get your blood works. And once you get your blood works, only then you can actually know the amount that you should take. Now, what I actually advise Black people, and no matter how well your vitamin D levels are, you need to be taking at least 10,000 international units and 100 microgram of K2 every day on the winter time. Okay, if you're not having sun, and that is called the maintenance dose. For you to even maintain your optimum levels, you should be taking this. And a lot of people think, oh, is it not too high? The chances are it's not even gonna get absorbed in the first place. So you're just increasing the chances of it getting absorbed. So imagine if you're actually taking anything less than that, it just goes in and it just exits. It's just wasting money and time. So once you go to your doctor and you know the levels, you start supplementing. After 3 months, you go back to your doctors. He does the blood works again, and then you can now adjust if it's getting to the optimal levels. And maybe you don't have any gut issues and you don't have issues with absorption. Now you can decrease it a little bit to 5,000 and internationally, so that you can maintain it at that level. Okay.
I beg you. In a layman's term, what's that dosage you were saying? 5,000.
Okay.
Like one tablet a day, one tablet of five.
Okay.
And My bad.
Let me break it down. So when you go and you do your blood works and your doctor finds out that you're vitamin D deficient, now we are 89 people here. I can put my hands on fire that 80%, like 80 people here out of 89 are vitamin D deficient.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, especially if you're black and you're melanated. So when you go and your doctor now tells you you're deficient, he may actually tell you to go and take vitamin D. He may not specify because he may not know actually.
Mm.
When you go to the vitamin shop, make sure that some of them they actually have the D3 and the K2 together,
Mm-hmm.
so it is easier. So for every 10,000 international unit of D3 that you're taking, you have to take at least 100 microgram of K2. Remember that is very, very important because without the K2, you can have kidney stones.
If you
Yes,
don't take the D3 without the K2,
you can have kidney stones. So it
whoa.
is absolutely important. Remember, the D3 is causing calcium to be absorbed, and calcium basically calcifies. It makes things hard.
Not yet.
So the D3 is basically that sort of like vitamin that you will get in your leafy greens. And the chances are a lot of us don't even eat greens like that. So you're not getting the enough amount of K2. So you have to make sure that to prevent having kidney stones, you will take them together. So it cleans all the calcium that is deposited on the wrong organs to go to the bones and go to the right places, like your teeth, like, so for every 10,000 international unit of D3, take 100 microgram of K2 with it for 3 months. Now go to your doctors, go check your vitamin D3 levels. If it's high enough or if it's getting to the optimum levels, then you now know that okay, this is a good it's good, so it's increasing your D levels in your blood. Because it is increasing it, you will have to half it to half to get the maintenance dose. Am I making sense?
Because it's half, then what do you do?
Because because your the 10,000 international units would have actually taken you to the optimum levels. If you keep taking it, it will take you too high, and you don't want it to be too high as well. So then you now have to identify a maintenance dose.
Okay.
Okay, so normally I say half. So half the dose of the 10,000 international unit to 5,000 international units. So if you've gotten the optimum level, it is basically making sure that it doesn't decrease or go up. So it just stays there, and it's just gonna be absolutely fantastic. You're gonna feel so good, like so good to the point where, you know, you just feel brand new. And I'll put a lot of people on this, and they just come back and tell me, oh my god, like since now I'll tell you a story. One of my friends, um, he's 23. Now he's 26. He was diagnosed with diabetes. Young man. And I was like, how? How are you diabetic at 23? And so I told him, can you go and check for your blood, vitamin D levels? He didn't take me seriously because like there's not enough education on it, and it's like we brush it off because it's not something that the pharmaceutical company is gonna make enough money about it. So awareness is not really there, and is mostly affecting Black people, and so it is not really something that is really talked about. So he didn't take me seriously, and he kept on taking his metformin. Okay, he took it for a while, and then at some point he actually developed insulin resistance.
Ooh,
Because vitamin D deficiency will basically cause insulin resistance. Your body is producing the insulin, but your body cannot recognize it.
that is serious.
Yeah. And so I think now 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, he reached out to me and he said, bro, I'm actually very depressed. I'm really foggy. I don't know what is happening with my body. Like everything is upside down. And I asked him, when I told you to go and do 2 years ago, to go and do your blood vitamin D level, did you go? He said, oh, I actually didn't. And I said, can you actually go and check for it, please? He went and guess what? He was deficient. Now I said, I put him on vitamin D and I said, can you, because he had that thing, and I said, wait for a week, right? Take it consistently, wait for a week. And after the week, check your blood sugar levels every time. And it had dropped significantly.
Whoa.
Because when you're giving your body the vitamin D3, which I call hormone D3, it is now beginning to function properly. Like, can you guys believe that when I was vitamin D deficient, I lost my hair? Like, I literally lost my hair.
Actually commented here that he lost his hairline because he
Yeah,
was vitamin D
yeah, yeah,
deficient.
yeah. I literally lost my hair. Like, it just disappeared. Now, let me take my hat off so you see. This is my hair. My hair's like literally like grown back. It's actually crazy.
Wow.
So this is absolutely not a joke. It is not a
And
joke.
is there any research on vitamin D3K to reducing fibroids? I saw a video of somebody saying that if you actually stay consistent on your vitamins and like those ones especially,
Yeah.
it can reduce fibroids. I don't know how.
Oh, absolutely. Now, it is not. It may not necessarily be the causation of the fibroids, but see, again, I don't want to like. I can't stress enough on the importance of vitamin D3 and every single thing of. You see, heart failure, depression, anxiety, fibroids, it plays a major role in all these kind of like diseases. Now, what is fibroids? What is PCOS? What is endometriosis? These are all ovarian diseases, okay? Now, when your body is, remember, initially, you're not taking, you have the susceptibility if you're a black woman already. So your chances of actually developing PCOS is high already.
Yep.
You're also vitamin D deficient. Man, that's a recipe for disaster.
Two troubles, one good.
Exactly. This one, no God. There's no God involved. It's literally just two troubles, pure blank. You know, straight to your, straight to your, straight to your grave. You know. So, all these are ovarian diseases that are caused by inflammation. When your ovaries are inflamed, you will have all these sort of like diseases and stuff going on. Now, the number one cause of inflammation is the lack of vitamin D deficiency. I mean, vitamin D deficiency. You're gonna be inflamed. Trust me, you're gonna be inflamed. Autoimmune diseases.
When you were talking about stress,
Yeah,
anxiety, and all those, I was going to ask about autoimmune disease. Like, I wanted to ask about
yeah,
our health, our mental health, how
yeah.
a bad mental health can let your body fight against itself. So I'm glad
Yeah, okay. Immunity.
you,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, again, when we talk about autoimmune diseases, right? How come your body, your immune cells have lived with you for a long time, but then all of a sudden they decide that they want to fight against you?
Uh-huh.
They want to fight. They just don't, because you're not treating them well.
They're
Like
not
when,
behind.
like it's like you're stressing them. Like this person, we are trying so hard to keep him or her healthy, but he's not cooperating. Well, we leave you to die, and now we start fight. They start fighting against you because see, when your body is always inflamed, right? How do you know your body is inflamed? Pretty straightforward. Put your hands under your scalp. You see very tender. Your scalp gets very tender. It's a sign of vitamin D deficiency. Your scalp gets very tender. You can put your hands here inside your sternum, push it. If you feel pain there, you might be vitamin D deficient. And that is inflammation. Some of us, young, but you see, when you're beyond, even older generation, older people who are beyond 60 and 70 that are taking the vitamin D and actually getting their levels high, they don't have as much back pain as this young generation. And that's not due to hard work. Some of us, we sit in the offices and we actually do not tedious works, but the back pain is ridiculous. You know, this is all inflammation. When your hairline start receding, guess what? It's because your body is inflamed. And when your body is inflamed, what it essentially does is it will produce what we call reactive oxygen species. These are harmful chemicals that your body starts producing. Your body basically starts feeling like there is an attack on it when there's no attack because it is lacking the nutrients that it needs, like vitamin D, right? So now it's the immune cells start releasing a lot of reactive oxygen species, right? we call them oxidants, and that's why you have all these antioxidants. It's become very famous and stuff like that. Your body will start now releasing those chemicals to kind of like say, yeah, there's something going on when there's nothing. And when that happens, it will start attacking your organs. And that is the autoimmune disease right there. So your immune cells who are meant to be protecting you now say that, why is it that I am lacking the ingredients that I need to function? Is it because some virus or bacteria is now taking it from us and we're not getting them? Okay, if that is the case, then we're going to release all the toxicants that the bacteria cannot stand so that we kill them so that we can get what we need. Now, this is a good process if indeed there is a virus in your body or a bacteria in your body. But if there is no bacteria or virus in your body and it's doing this over a period of time because they are not getting what they need to function, that's when you start having the autoimmune diseases. And I've broken it down very simple for you.
What? It's like your body is rebelling for you not taking
Yes,
good care of it.
absolutely.
And your body is
Because
fighting. Oh my God.
because it's waited for you for over a long period of time for you to give them what they need. Remember, for your body to actually rebel against you, it means that it's been time. It has been trying to give you signs. It's been trying to tell you, please, I'm struggling. It's crying for help. And you ignore it, you know? And so over time, it just gives up on you. And when it starts giving up on you, then, only then, you will start paying attention to it. Do you get it? So all the symptoms that you're getting, okay, like when you start having pain, it is not because life is pain. It is because your body is basically trying to give you signals that this is a problem. Please deal with me. And so when you wake up and you're feeling pain, it is basically saying there is something wrong. Please deal with it. When you feel up and you're somewhere has swollen, it is basically your body saying that there's something wrong. Go and check me up. So symptoms are meant to be good if you're taking them into consideration. But if you're not taking them into consideration over a long period of time, guess what? When your immune cells start releasing all these harmful chemicals that are meant to be killing bacteria and viruses and now attacking your organs, it also can lead to cancer. So they are all intertwined. It's one thing leading to the other. So a person having cancer is not because all of a sudden one day they got up and they had cancer. It is a series of events. Your body would have given you chance. Please help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. At some point, it just says, yeah, this person doesn't really want help. So I'm just gonna give up. Yeah. And when you talk about the mental health as well, mental health, it's one of the trickiest things because see, nothing actually gets to your brain apart from glucose and water. Your brain is a tightly regulated place. So your skull, right? Your skull protects your brain so that it does not have injuries. Your brain, when you hit your head, your brain doesn't have injuries and stuff like that. And then around it, there is what we call the blood-brain barrier. It only allows glucose and water into it. Okay. Apart from that, nothing else goes in, nothing else comes out. Right. Now, over a period of time, when you have a lot of inflammation in your body, okay. Now remember, the same blood that goes to your heart and goes to your kidneys, those are the same blood that also go to your brain as well. But the brain will take what it needs, and then the rest it will just let it go. When there's a lot of inflammation going on inside your body, the inflammatory markers like the reactive oxygen species, the reactive nitrogen species, all the cytokines. I don't want to bore you too much with the names. What they do is they decrease the protection of your brain, and so this gate that wouldn't allow anything in is now leaky. It's now opened
Yeah.
for things to now get in
Yeah.
because it is crying for help. And when that happens, when things that are meant to be in your lungs now start leaking into your brain and things that are meant to be in your periphery, what we call the normal body, because we separate the body from the brain, things that are meant to be inside the periphery gets to the brain. Now you have disaster right there, and that's how we have a lot of depression. We have a lot of diseases and stuff like that. But with that being said, there is also a way to change your mental health without actually, even if things are not getting to your brain. Because, see, the truth of the matter is 80% of the depression drugs that we take do not even get to the brain because the brain wouldn't allow it to get to the brain. Remember, it does not allow anything that is not glucose or water in. How?
Taking them. Okay, well, it's business, right? They are just
Yeah,
giving out
it's business. It's
the
business. It's
medicine for
business.
business.
Now, let me tell you the best way if you have depression and anxiety and all these mental health issues. Okay, there is a direct link between your gut and your brain, and I've done a lot of research on this. I have published a lot on this. What you eat has a direct link to your mental health. Not even like has to go to, no. What you eat. So, you know, the happy hormone, we call the serotonin, right? This is the happy hormone. When you have serotonin, you're very happy, you're very joyous, it's like you, Joy, for instance, you must have a lot of serotonin in your body.
I think so.
And and 80% of this neurotransmitter, this peptide, is produced in your gut. 80%. 80%. So when that happens is when you're eating well and your serotonin is being produced, you have the serotonin receptors. When they are activated, they also activate in your brain. So imagine when you're eating healthy for a long period of time, the night where you have the McDonald's and the shitty food, sorry for my French, you would end up not being happy the next morning. But when you have like a very concrete, solid, nutritious food and you go to bed, you wake up really feeling like, everything just falls into place because
Okay.
your gut has absolutely influenced your brain and your mental health. And so because and guess what? All the depression drugs that we take, guess what they are? Serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So the drug that you're taking that was meant to be going to your brain is going there so that the serotonin levels in your brain will not be broken down. But if you're eating well and you're producing your gut, you don't need that.
Neither.
Yep.
So at this point, and I know it's like cliche, oh, eat your vegetables, eat your fruits, eat your grains, but sometimes I think that we need some motivation. So like the other time we were talking about hibiscus. If I know that hibiscus can help with my blood pressure and all that, like I feel like I
Yeah.
will be more excited to go and take it. But it
Yeah.
just mostly general, oh, just take fruits, just take vegetables. But
Yeah.
if you tell me this will do this,
Yeah.
so at this point, what will do what so that
Okay.
people will
Okay. Very
it?
good. Very, very good. So now let's assume that you've gone to your GP or your PCP and you've checked your blood level, blood pressure, your blood vitamin level, D levels, and you're starting to take it. Now let's go to the holistic approach of things. There is a study, anyone can search this. Hibiscus, okay, contains natural ingredients, right? That goes head to head with amlodipine. The job that amlodipine is doing, your hibiscus is doing exactly the same thing in a natural way. Now, the difference here, let me break it
For
down
those
to
that
you,
don't
is that
know, I'm not the pin. I'm not the
amlodipine
pin.
is a blood pressure medication, okay? And it's doing exactly the same thing. But this is natural. This is a white chemical. The chance of this having a side effect is very low compared to this. Now, the only problem is the hibiscus will not the end half-life of the hibiscus is not improved. So your body will take it will do the effect maybe for 2-3 hours and then it will come back to normal. So you have to continue be taking it. The only difference is this one has been studied to work for 24 hours.
Ah,
Do you get it? But
yes.
if you were to be having a blood pressure issue and you're actually constantly drinking hibiscus, it will still do the work as the medication, but the half-life is lower, is shorter.
Okay.
Okay.
Then you
Now
have to
what you
take
can,
it regularly.
yeah, exactly. Now what you can do is you can now take your amlodipine and also as a holistic approach, be drinking your hibiscus. Now the advice that I would give people is when you start taking your amlodipine, of course, when you take your amlodipine in the morning, please, by all means, don't go and be drinking hibiscus together with it because Now you're gonna increase the chance your blood pressure. You're gonna go have hypotension, and that's even more dangerous.
Mm.
So you take your maybe your amlodipine in the morning, and then as it is working, is getting metabolized and get absorbed. You can wait maybe like 6 hours, and then you'll be taking your hibiscus to sort of like help it. Help your blood pressure to calm down, and because hibiscus not only does it decrease your blood pressure through your dilating your blood vessels, but it's also doing a lot of good things for your body to relax, to calm it down. And so it's a natural way of going about things. Okay.
Hey, yeah,
Apart from
totally.
hibiscus, no, it's very good. And this is not something I'm actually saying it out of my head. It's a research right there. Go and check for it. It's been published. Hibiscus goes head to head with a white pure chemical, which is amlodipine. Okay. The hibiscus flower, yes. And for example, when we talk about PCOS, for instance, the yarrow flower is being yarrow. I don't know. People don't actually know what it is, but the yarrow flower is androgenic, meaning it basically it basically prevents androgen from being produced in the high levels, which is the biomarker for PCOS. So one of my friends, she suffers from just 23. She has PCOS, and I told her, listen, you have to go through the holistic approach. Take your medication, but also be on taking your yarrow tea and stuff like that. It will absolutely decrease the inflammation. Listen, as something like ginger, for instance, your your cloves tea, an amazing antioxidant, fantastic antioxidant, fantastic. When you soak it, and you soak it with garlic and the black, we call it negro pepper. Okay, you soak
Yeah.
it. Yeah, huentia. I think they call it huentia. When you soak your cloves, your negro pepper, and you cut some garlics, right? And you soak it overnight, 24 hours, and then the next morning you boil it for 20 minutes, and you now pour it inside a nice glass, package it well, put it inside your fridge. Take them as a shot. Okay, take them as a shot. Now, if you're not a married man, please do not go and be doing this, because the side effect is your blood circulation is gonna go so well that your penis is gonna be going up very randomly, and it's gonna increase your testosterone levels too. Because what these do is they are a powerful antioxidant too. The garlic, what the fermented garlic and you using the garlic is doing is that garlic will stimulate nitric oxide production, which will dilate your blood vessels. Your cloves is basically scavenging all the oxidants that is in your bloodstream away. So now you have a combination of your blood vessels are dilated, your oxidants are being removed, your blood flow is going so well. And so, for a man to get aroused, it is basically blood flow filling his penis, right? And so if if you have erectile dysfunctions and stuff like that, take it as a shot in the morning. Don't go and drink the whole thing, because it is very powerful, right? Take a little cup, like the shot cup. Those of you that know how to drink alcohol, shot cup, take it in the morning before bed, take it. And in the morning when you wake up, you will see that your pee will be so yellow, because it's getting rid of all the oxidants in your bloodstream and throwing away. So I know a lot of people do say, "Oh, garlic it smells." Now, if you look at the Indians, they don't mind it. They even chew it like that.
Yeah.
They even chew it like that. It is a powerful, powerful medication. Now we need to shift from an idea that we're eating for just fill our belly to eating as a potential medication to heal our body, because the food that we're eating is a nutrition to prevent diseases from arising in the first place. So would you rather be taking shots from cloves, negro pepper, and garlic, even though it's bitter, than be taking a white pure chemical, which you have to is probably going to be more expensive, and it's going to do more damage to your body than
By
this?
popular request, they said repeat what you said. You said cloves, garlic, negro pepper, which is
Negro
wintia.
pepper, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So what you do is You take cloves, like a handful of cloves, okay, and then you wash it very well. You take a handful of Negro pepper, you wash it very well, and you take like three peeled garlic, the little, not the whole round, the singlet ones. Then you
Mm.
cut it into pieces, and then you get a nice either bowl or glass that you can actually like close, tighten it up, put the water in there, tighten it up, leave it in room temperature for for this to soak, to simmer. It's for the all the ingredient, the antioxidant to seep inside the water. The next morning, the reason why you boil it for the 20 minutes is so that you get all the antioxidant, all the ingredient that you need to be inside the water for 20 minutes. Don't boil it over too long because you can actually degrade the chemicals that are going to be good for your body. And then you allow it to cool down. You verse it inside a bottle or something, and then you can actually be taking shots with that. Now, I kid you not, anyone that does this, the how powerful it is as an antioxidant, and the way it will basically make your if you're a man, it will basically increase your testosterone levels and your libido so high because the blood flow is gonna be increased in your penis area. So it's gonna help you so much. If you're a woman, it's gonna help you so much with your discharges, bad like all the oxidants in your body. You will start seeing like all bad discharges coming through from your body. So it is absolutely essential for us to move from this mindset of I'm eating to fill my belly up to I'm eating to heal my body.
Yeah. I beg, go and follow him. Go and gift him. Go and ask him your questions. You are getting information. He's not charging anybody. So please, what you can do is to follow him, send him a gift here, send him a robe, send him a diamond, lion, all the gifts that you can give him because this is something that somebody has gone to school for so many years to learn. So we need to appreciate him. And
Yeah,
that's such good information because see we have all these things so but sometimes we don't know what it is and we are
yeah,
not motivated to take them. So I feel like giving this realistic information. Now if I go to the store and I see hibiscus, I'm buying some. If I see
absolutely,
negro pepper, I'll buy some.
absolutely,
Cloves, garlic, then I know that okay, if I do this, this is gonna help me. And iron supplements, if you want to
yeah,
touch on that real quick, especially for the women.
yeah. So you see, black women are more likely to be iron deficient and anemic. You know why? Because this was a homeostatic effect. Homeostatic means that how mosquitoes and stuff like that were in Africa. For your body to sort of like decrease the chances of mosquitoes, malaria and stuff like that, then you developed sort of like anemia and stuff like that. Okay, because when you're anemic, your blood tastes really bitter. So the mosquitoes are not gonna enjoy biting you. So it was something that was your body adapted because of your environment, but then now it has become a problem. So what essentially is gonna happen is if you're iron deficient, and it's always the beautiful ones that have iron deficiency. If you see a beautiful girl, if you see a beautiful girl, chances are she's also iron deficient. And when you're deficient on iron and you're not taking your ions religiously, you are gonna have a lot of fatigue, and you're gonna feel even your desire to do things is gonna decrease. Now, sometimes the ions too, they have this level of, for ions. I'm sorry, you just have to be eating your bones when you get your hard chicken. Yeah, crack it open, eat it. If you want to get your ions very nicely, get your bone broth. Do bone broth. If you don't want to be supplementing with the ions tablets,
Hold on.
yeah,
They said abuche bones we don't eat.
you go to African market.
Ah, okay. Because that's what they said. Like when we came here, that no, you can't eat bones, it's cancerous. They said, hey, what's up?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you go to African market and get the Ghana ones. If anyone that is coming from Ghana, if you have to do shipment, do it, please, because again, if some people say that when they take the iron tablet, it makes them feel some kind of way. Okay, now you're iron deficient. So one way or the other, you need to get your iron levels up. So it's either you're basically taking your tablets, or you are, doing your bone broth and cracking your chicken bones and eating your bones. And bone broth is very, very important. You know, when kids are born, it is very advised to do bone broth for them. I mean, not kids, not when they are toddler, but like when they start walking and stuff like that. It is absolutely important because, it's gonna make them strong. And it decreases all these autoimmune diseases when they are older. So absolutely don't neglect because a lot of people have the beautiful ones have iron deficiency, and guess what? They're not even taking them. So they can sleep for like 13 hours and they're still not feeling refreshed because your iron levels are low. And especially during the winter time, you're going to have a lot of iron deficiency. Your iron levels will drop very significantly, right? Because again, let's tie it back into the conversation we were having before. During the winter time, your body does not absorb food as much as it should when you're melanated. It means that the ions that is in your food will not even get absorbed in the first place.
And
So
see,
you
this
increase
one
the
is
chance.
that I can testify because I think early this year, maybe before I discovered this D3K2 iron, like it got to a point like I was not interested in anything again.
Yeah, depressed.
I was in the mood. I was very
Yeah, yeah,
slow.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
started watching videos and reading about them. And so I bought a D3K2
K2.
iron, and then I saw like a sudden shift,
You will
a
see an
sudden
absolute
change.
change.
I'm like, oh, so like this one is actually sweeter.
Yeah. Yeah. No, see, when people actually take the advice and they start putting on, they come in my DMs and they're like, yo, that's crazy. I didn't really pay attention to this. It would change your whole existence. It will make you feel brand new. Like some people just say, I didn't even know how it felt. I didn't think it was possible to wake up without pain.
Right,
Now, if you sleep and you wake up in the morning and you feel like somebody has beaten you and it's not your family members from the village, trust me, you have an issue. Like there is something going on. Like why are you sleeping something that is meant to be, refreshing you, waking up in the morning feeling like someone has beaten you in your sleep? It is not possible unless your family members came from the village to whip you during the night. But if that's not the case, then you shouldn't be feeling tired when you just had 8 hours sleep.
right. And
You
sometimes
know?
people sleep for maybe I can sleep. I used to sleep like 10 hours, 12 hours. I wake up and it's like nah, it's
That
not.
yeah, that's that's not normal. Especially as a woman. I mean, there's research to show that as a woman, you should sleep at least 10. Like, you should get at least 10 hours sleep. So after the 10 hours, if you're still feeling weak and tired, chances are your body is basically crying for help. Please help me. And if you ignore it, that's where mood, depression, all these kind of things stick in. See, depression is a real thing, but it is a nutritional deficiency. Let's remove the spiritual aspect of it out, which I believe in, that it could be sometimes could be spiritual. But I'm sorry, if you're actually starting to supplement and stuff like that, and you still not feel good, then you can bring in the spiritual aspect. But when you're having brain fogs, someone can actually walk inside a room. They're going to take a comb. As they are coming to the room, they were thinking, I'm going to take a comb. I'm going to take a comb. They got there, they forgot that they were going to take a comb. They get out, now they remember, why did I take the comb? Listen, you need help. You need to start supplementing because your brain, like the connections between your brains are weakened. So your the signal transduction from one neuron to the other is not working properly. So some people are so forgetful. People like you need ashwagandha. You need to be taking ashwagandha.
I've heard the name. Let me just say it. Okay, let's
Yeah,
see.
you need to be taking ashwagandha.
Oh, somebody was
So,
asking.
someone says someone is holding and is still looking for yes. These are all signs that you need help. Your body is basically asking you for help because it is not normal. Like you're not sharp, you're not alert, you're slow. If we ask you 2+2, you will not even be able to say it because your brain connections between your neurons are not really functioning properly. Ashwagandha, it is an absolutely important You know, it reduces anxiety. It helps with depression. It makes you sleep so well. It increases testosterone levels. Absolutely.
So when you talk about like such things, and then I see herbs, like I see ashwagandha tea bag. Are you saying take the real ashwagandha leaf, or you get the tea bag?
That's a very good question. Now, let me tell you something. What I take, see, the thing is, a lot of these stuff that they sell on your food shelf and stuff like that. When you go to the vitamin shop, ashwagandha basically was like $30.
Mm,
Fact fact is, chances are it is not gonna get absorbed in your gut. Okay, it is not gonna get absorbed in your gut. So what I do is ashwagandha is Indian. I go to the Indian shop. The powder is like $5.
mm,
So it's like wanting to eat wache and I go to an Indian place to go and eat wache. It doesn't make sense. You
it
go to a
doesn't.
Ghanaian restaurant and you buy the wache, your chances are you're gonna get the authentic wache. So you go to the Indian shop and you buy, and when it comes to the Indian people, when it comes to herbal things like that, number one, they actually know these herbal stuff, you know.
Yeah.
And I work with some Indians. Listen, they train you, they talk to you and they tell you what. So I started taking Uganda, and I'm not gonna lie to you, the things that it will do to you, like sometimes you're just walking around and your penis just arises, and you will observe this thing happen so often as soon as you start taking that powder. If you have any erectile dysfunction, because remember, when you're anxious, when you're sad, when your mood is not good, your mind is directly connected to your arousal and your so when your anxiety levels decrease as a man, your penis rises.
Mm,
And same thing as a woman. When your anxiety levels decrease, that's when you're going to actually search for sexual intercourse. But when you're stressed, you're not, especially for most men, when they're stressed, it's like there's not even blood flow because your brain is like, oh, there's something going on, there's something going on. So all the blood flow is going to go to the brain. But when you're relaxed, your brain is like, oh, this person is relaxed. There's no fight or flight. So let's direct the blood to the right places. And so then when your testosterone levels is upregulated, up, automatically your penis will arise too. And you're gonna be able to, and there's no need for all the,
yeah. I can see. I don't need my phone. I am stressed. Oh, heaven, if you're good. Yeah,
yeah.
God. I see.
So
Yes, ashwagandha.
ashwagandha. And when you get the powder one, please do not start off take a tiny teaspoon. Don't fill it up to the brim, just a tiny bit. Start it slowly. Start it with small amount, okay? And then you will then you will have a very good sleep, like a sleep. I was friends with a lady who was a nurse. She used to work night shift, and she never really be able to sleep at night. And I told her she used to take melatonin, to sleep. And I told her, why don't you substitute this with ashwagandha? And then she saw that actually it's so good. It really helped her to, because when your anxiety levels are low, you're gonna be able to sleep.
So
So
like
yeah,
a teaspoon
teaspoon.
of hot water, right?
Oh, teaspoon, not even the hot water, not hot water, but like warm, warm, not too hot, not too cold. And then because the taste is a little bit particular, what you want to do is you sweeten it with honey. Okay, so then before bed, was you take that, you go and brush your teeth, and then you come and and it literally takes you in that low dim energy, and then you just drip off.
Yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
I don't know if people have questions, you can leave them in the comment section. Somebody was asking PCOS. Was that what you said? They can use
Yarrow. So
taro?
so let me touch a little bit into the PCOS. See, the truth of the matter is the reason why black women are more susceptible to PCOS and all these ovarian diseases is because one, the hair products the black women use. Two, the hair relaxes. Three, the braiding, the synthetic hair. Four, the wigs. Five, the
Lord have mercy, please.
5, the wigs. 6, the the gel, the glue that you use to tighten up all those
Frontal.
frontal. 7, the makeup. 8, the body cream. I could go on and on and on and on, because see, what essentially happens is these, and this is actually a known. I don't know why it is not broadcasted so that people actually know. When it comes to black synthetic hair, okay, or black women's products, right? There are more of the harmful chemicals compared to their white counterparts products. Why is that the case? Because for black women or black people, you use the cheap stuff and you still buy it because what you want, you don't even read in what is in there. You just want to look good, right? Exactly. So the synthetic hair, most of these are made with chemicals that are so bad. They contain bisphenol A, they contain PFOS, they contain PFAS, talk less of all the microplastics. Now, when all these chemicals are being, you're putting on your skin, on your body, guess what? It can be considered a drug, because a drug is anything that you put in your body that has an effect on your body. So foods can be considered a drug because foods have an effect on the body. So all the braiding stuff, they actually contain these chemicals that your body is going to absorb. And when it gets absorbed, they basically disrupt your hormones. And we call them endocrine disrupting chemicals, the EDCs. So imagine taking in endocrine disrupting chemicals through your hair chemicals, through your hair product, through your braiding, through your wigs, through your cream, through your. See, what essentially happens is now your FSH, your estrogen, which is basically what makes you feminine, want to speak like a lady, want to submit, want to speak like a lady, want to behave like a lady, is now that connection is like those chemicals come and they behave like for layman's terms, they behave like scissors. They start cutting it. Now the estrogen that will make you feminine is being cut off. What happens? As a homeostatic effect, if estrogen is cut off, testosterone takes over. And androgen takes over.
You would, yeah, a man or master, why didn't
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
And also a factor. And also a factor. Yeah. So all of a sudden, you want to behave masculine. You want to go toe to toe with a man. All of a sudden, you start growing little beard here. All of a sudden, like, you start behaving aggressive. Like your periods are irregular, So androgen and testosterone are male hormones. It makes us want to fight. It makes us want to be aggressive. It's also one of the hormones that kill us faster because it's a very aggressive hormone. It makes us want to take risks. It makes us want to jump, do stupid stuff, But, estrogen is more reserved. It's like, no, don't do this. This is not good for you. I'm not going to, gentle. But all of a sudden when,
come and funny, I'll start reading the comments.
so we have to be very kind to people who are going through PCOS because they tend to be very masculine because androgen and testosterone is higher in them. And sometimes they may not even be able to, control themselves. Because remember, when you have testosterone running in your body, it's also going to condition your mind to behave like a man. Because a man has testosterone, that's why he behaves like a man. And even men, generally, men that have low testosterone behave like women. Because remember, when one is not high, the other one has to take over. Okay? So women has to be women with estrogen, and men have to. With that being said, it doesn't mean that women don't have testosterone, but a very low level. So every woman can actually be aggressive because testosterone is still there. But not every day you want to be aggressive. Then you have to go and check your.
Marriage is not an achievement for you.
Guys, no,
No.
this is a no. You see how what happens in your body can actually have a very big social impact, a huge social impact. So chances are, when you see women being very aggressive and you take them to their doctors and you actually take their blood and you check for their testosterone levels, it's probably very high,
Very high.
because estrogen doesn't want to make you. Estrogen will not even prompt you to even fight. It just it just wants you to, like, just relax, just be peaceful,
They say the ladies, we all have to go back to natural hair. Now, okay, wait. You see, how most synthetic hair, no, it has chemicals. The natural hair, like natural wigs too. Some people say, hey, it's human hair, it's so good. And I see how they will say,
That's an absolutely good question. Now, of course, me, I'm providing you with the information. Do what you want with
do
it.
what?
I'm not here to I'm not here to decide anything for anybody, because I don't want to be, I'm just providing the information and the fact, because this has come on the news, and it's not gonna be news because who suffer from these diseases? Black women.
Black women.
Who is actually going to be the consequence bearer of these issues? Black men. So it is not the white, if it was a white issue, when HIV became a global issue, guess what? We got, HIV, solutions. So until it is a black woman's issue, it will always remain not talked about, right? So I'm just providing the information. I mean, again, even the hair product that you're gonna use, shea butter. Shea butter is an amazing source,
Wow.
amazing, amazing source of hair cream. You can get almond oil, you can get avocado oil. Sometimes you can even compress all these by yourself, because when you go and buy them, guess what? Because they want it in quantity, they will pour nonsense in it. Okay, so you can, as you know, DIY, do it yourself. Compress the oil at home. Like, find natural ways to, because remember, what they are actually selling you is them extracting it themselves and actually selling you. It's not nothing special. It doesn't. In fact, it contains all the bad stuff, that is gonna harm you. So sincerely, when it comes to PCOS, when you stop, taking all these makeups, and even the makeups, of course, there are quality ones and there are cheap ones. The hair, there are quality ones, there are cheap ones. You if you still want to use this stuff, at least do a bit of research. Look into which ones are less harmful, and then you go with it. And if you have PCOS, you shouldn't even touch those kind of things.
Oh.
One thing is, if you don't have PCOS and you still want to do it, okay, fair enough. You're increasing your chances, but at least you don't have the disease. But you have the disease and you're still using glues on your skin, yeah, it's just gonna, make it worse, you know?
Yes. Somebody was asking kids relaxer, and I think that's the worst of all.
Oh yeah, that's the worst. Bleaching creams,
Let's take
bleachers.
kids.
Yeah. Bleaching creams. Yeah, they are very harmful. And so my advice is shea butter for everything. Personally, shea butter, natural oils, just get them. And chances are, if you go to Ghana and you actually find people who are actually doing the natural way of getting those stuff, get it from them. Sometimes your mainstream chemicals for the hair and for the body, they contain stuff that you wouldn't want to put on your body. So find those small business owners, those ones that they do it at home. They those ones, they might contain some level of, I don't know, toxicants, but not as much as the mainstream ones. No.
But okay, let's talk about this one. I don't think skincare is part of what we are talking about. Like retinol oil, like the ones we use for washing the face. Thank you, Chef Nana, for the gift. The ones we use for the face and all that. Do you think, is there research on that? Because I know
See,
they're just bleaching. That one is not bleaching. It's just like giving
no,
you.
no, for sure. See, the human body, right? The good thing about it is the reason why we're having issues with our skin and we have to do a lot of skincare is because our inside is dirty.
Mm,
Now, if your inside is not dirty, because everything you see is a reflection of what is inside of you. So you want to do, if you want to go and buy the most expensive product and not change your diet from inside and your gut, your skin is still not going to do anything. I know people who use water and soap and their skin is flawless. So it's not outside in, it's inside out. Eat well, sleep well, drink a lot of water, detox. Listen, no need to waste so much money on these skincare products because a lot of them are a scam. How do you even know that they've not, that you see the hyaluronic acid and all these kind of things, and you see that it's viscose? How do you know there's something there in the first place? What if it's a placebo?
And see, the thing is that if you're also not knowledgeable enough, like me, I would just see they'll promote the positive aspects.
Yeah.
Oh, hyaluronic acid is good for your skin. Retinol oil is good for, but they don't tell you the side effects.
See, the truth of the matter is, eat well, eat healthy, and for your face, the number one advice I'll give you is use sunscreen. See, the truth is, what you need for your face, get a good moisturizer, get vitamin C, okay? That's all you need. Good moisturizer, vitamin C, and a good cleanser.
Vitamin C
and your
serum,
sunscreen.
vitamin C tablets.
Serum.
Serum, okay.
Yeah. See, all you need, together with this, you just, because see, your skin already produces sebum, right? To moisturize your skin. So during the winter time, of course, your skin is gonna naturally be dry. So you will need a good moisturizer and a good sunscreen to protect the UV light from damaging your DNA cells in your face, so that your skin doesn't age. Okay. So the number one importance, in fact, among all this, is your sunscreen. The rest, guess what? You're eating healthy, you get vitamin C. You're taking your orange, you're eating nice oranges, you're taking your greens, you're detoxing, you're doing your greens, your cucumbers, your dark cucumbers, you're getting your dark green apples, you're doing all these things. You're getting rid of all this. And let me tell you something. If you see a person with a lot of acne in their face, and they're not a teenager, okay? I mean, teenaging, your hormones are still doing Harlem Shake for a bit. When you see a person that has a lot of issues, acne and stuff, I can tell you for a fact that your gut health is not great. Now, by all means, farting and poo should not smell like aqua di joe, but it shouldn't smell like something has died in your stomach. So you need to now take in a lot of fibers, things that are gonna allow your gut health, because see, there are 3 billion bacteria in your gut alone. You have more bacteria in your body than your body cells.
You have more bacteria in your body than your body cells.
Than actual human cells. People don't know this. So people say, oh, bacteria is bad, bacteria is bad. Oh no, bacteria is our friend. But which bacteria are we talking about?
The good one.
When you go and take, the reason why you take probiotic, you take this, you take kombucha, you take this, you take that, is because they contain live bacteria, and that bacteria is live cultures. Those cultures and bacteria are good for you. We call them benign bacteria. Back in the day when we didn't understand that bacteria was good, we thought bacteria is bad. So people will be taking dewormers. They will get rid of all their bacteria, all their microflora in their gut. Oh God, you stand a very high chance of actually getting a lot of diseases. Yes.
And even for women too, gynecologists always advise that stop putting your finger and trying to clean, because when you do that, you clean all the good bacteria away.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And as a woman, if you're eating well, you're drinking enough water, you don't even need anything to clean under there, because it is an auto cleanser. It cleanses itself. It does the work by itself. And
Yeah.
so the bacteria is very important. And when a woman is not naturally taking care of their flora, oh God, I'm very worried for their child because remember, during childbirth, the reason why some people would develop depression, some people will not develop depression, some people have really strong immune systems, some people will not have good strong immune system is because of there have been studies that shows that children that are born through a normal vaginal delivery are stronger than the ones that are born through cesarean section. Of course, not every woman can actually give birth naturally. So, but the link is there. Because remember, when you're born naturally through natural delivery, guess what happens? The good bacteria that your mom has strived so hard to keep it good in there. I mean, unlucky you if your mom has not tried to keep good ones and the aggressive ones are there. That one, I don't know about you. But like, if your mother has tried to keep the good ones in there, as your head is coming out, guess what you actually get exposed to first? The good ones. So
Yeah.
those ones are the ones that are gonna be going inside you, and when they go inside you, they are the ones to train your body. It's like when you're teachers, they are teachers. Train your immune system to say, oh, if this one comes, it's bad. If this one comes, it's good. So they are gonna be protective bacteria. But the ones that are born via cesarean section, remember, you're in a hospital environment, and what will tell you if you were born in some village in a hospital, the chances are you're gonna be exposed to E. coli and Staphylococcus aureus and all these aggressive bacteria. And so the first bacteria that you're going to be exposed to are the aggressive ones, the ones that are even antibiotic resistant, right? So imagine those ones training your body. That's what happens, why people will now develop autoimmune diseases and all these kind of like diseases. So bacteria is a good thing. So you will need for gut health, you are absolutely need to be taking your probiotic. And I'm not even going to advise you to go and take the pills. No, 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 no. Go and eat your Greek yogurt. I know it's not tasty, but it's
Yeah.
absolutely important. Your Greek yogurt without sweetness. Drink your kombucha, your fermented stuff. Those are promoting good gut health.
Okay, what
Absolutely good gut
about
health.
funky kinky?
Fanti kenke is fermented.
For people that
Yeah,
don't
so
have
it
Greek
has
yogurt.
probiotic. Yeah, yeah, it's probiotic.
Ah, okay.
So it is absolutely important that you take care of your gut because you see, a lot of the diseases that we have, even if you're taking a medication, your gut will be playing a role in the metabolism of the medication. So some people will take a medication and medication doesn't work because your gut also plays a role. The bacteria there, they're like soldiers. They basically detect a lot of the things. They determine a lot of the things that your body actually goes through. So when you have a good gut health, you have a good body health. When you're a woman and you feel a lot of bloating and stuff, you feel uncomfortable, right? It's like you're sick-ish. Like it's like there's something going on because your gut is not healthy. And when there's so much air trapped in your gut, it's also not good for you. So you would want to take care of your gut, just like you take care of your skin. See, your gut, the truth of the matter is, if your gut is healthy, they will make your face look healthy. So if I were you, I wouldn't waste too much money on making because this one cannot go in there. But when you treat here, it
Yeah,
can
that's
come
what
here.
it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's been a very educative, informative, entertaining session. And people were putting comments here. We're trying to answer. Please, if we skip your question, you can ask. Somebody was asking about their hairline if they take,
Yeah. Someone
vitamins.
okay, hairline. Okay, let me touch on it. I wish we could actually like pinpoint the questions and so that I can address some of them. The hairline. See, unfortunately, if your hair follicles have all died, there's nothing you can do about it. Because for if the hair follicles are still present and your hair is dying or receding or thinning because you're lacking certain nutrients, then of course, by you putting the nutrients back in the place where they belong to, you should now get the equilibrium in it, so your hair should start growing back. Just like when I lost my hair
Mm.
and my follicles had not died completely, when I put it back, the hair started growing back again, right? And so when your hair is very shiny, when the light hits it, at that point, there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to pray for you,
Ow.
or you go to Turkey.
Ow.
Yeah, there's nothing we can do.
I
But
started losing it, then there's something
well,
you can.
yeah, as soon as you start losing or it starts thinning, it's basically an indication that please supplement me, take the nutrients, change your diet, eat well, drink your water, And as you start doing that, your body is, listen, your body is not a magician, okay? It doesn't show things that have not been triggered. It's like a computer. You cannot type J and then your computer give you F, for instance, on the screen. Whatever it shows you is because something has happened, and that's why it's been translated for you in that form. So the moment you actually start treating the cause, you will starting to see an effect.
Mhm.
Okay. And so the hairline part, if there are no follicles on your head, then Turkey is the only advice for you.
I
But if it's
somebody
just thinning,
about weight loss. I know you talked about carbs and then brown rice being better
yeah.
than white rice. So I don't know what else. Low
Okay.
carb.
When it comes to weight loss, first and foremost, make sure that you're not insulin resistant. Okay. Make sure
Mm,
you're not insulin resistant. Because if you're insulin resistant, then it means that no matter how much you try, your insulin, even though your pancreas is producing your B cells or Langerhans is producing your insulin, what happens is it's not being sensitive enough, so it is not going to regulate your glucose storage, and so you would want to make sure that you're not insulin resistant. Now, how can you know that you're insulin resistant? Of course, you go to your doctors. He will advise you to go and take, your blood HbA1c levels and check your blood glucose level. Your blood glucose levels normally is not a good indicator, but like the more sophisticated one, I think is HbA1c, which is not now a better indication of your blood sugar levels. And then once that is done, you will see that you are actually maybe pre-diabetic because your blood sugar levels at fasting shouldn't be more than 5, right? Should be
mm,
pretty much lower. So when it's over 5 and it's, if it's, HbA1c, thank you, Dr. Talks. Yeah. So that's a good indicator of, you having whether diabetes or not, right? Now, because the sugar levels in your bloodstream, the one that we use the machine to detect, is not really a good indication. That one, essentially, even after eating, it can go up, right? So it is
mm.
not a good indicator. But the one that is HB, I always never really remember because it's like, yeah, that one your doctor will, when they do it, is a good indicator of you having diabetes, right? Now, if you're having diabetes, now your chances are, if you didn't die at a young and you're not taking insulin, is type 2 diabetes. Because type 1, it means that your pancreas is not producing the insulin. Type 2 is that your body is producing the insulin, but for some reason, the insulin is not being able to function properly. Right? Good. So essentially, when you go and that marker is up and it's not within a normal range, you would want to, guess what? Bring that down. And if you're a little bit overweight, what essentially happens is there is fat that is going to, so insulin, you have insulin receptors, right? So naturally, fat will go and cover it. Okay. Now, when fat goes and cover it, even if the insulin comes and is roaming in your bloodstream, and there's high levels of glucose in your bloodstream, and is wanting to be regulated, it cannot go inside. So what will happen is it will become resistant. So the moment you start exercising and you start getting rid of the fat, the adipose tissues that are going to come and sit on the insulin receptors, now you're actually giving the insulin receptors open for the insulin to now bind to them, for them to be sensitive. So there are different types of insulin receptor like GLUT1, GLUT2, GLUT3, GLUT4, and so on, right? So the number one cause of insulin resistance is obesity. Obesity. When you start adding on weight, it's generally not good for you. So as soon as you start, increasing weight, try to reduce your weight, and then you're gonna be able to be more sensitive to insulin. Two, make sure that you are not taking in simple carbs. So your simple carbs will be your eba, your banku, your your white rice, But when you're taking complex carbs, you fufu, when you're taking your complex carbs like brown rice, your brown bread, your brown stuff, these are complex carbs, and you're taking your fiber, okay? These are complex carbs. Now remember, what essentially they do is, if the simple carbs like your white rice will be taking 30 minutes to digest, your white rice will take maybe 4 hours. So there's a slow release of energy. So there's not accumulation of the excess energy that your body will absorb. So it's only just taking the right amount when needed. So not a lot of surplus is being stored. So that with that being said, by so doing, even the excess ones that have been stored, your body will start using those when enough energy is not being absorbed from the white rice, so that you are eating the same portions like you eat the white rice, but you will see that you're actually decreasing weight, right? So you combine exercise and you combine eating complex carbs. You don't necessarily even have to cut portion size, because a lot of people do struggle with this portion control. So as you begin, switch it slowly to complex carbs, eat the same portion, but then over time, start decreasing it, and you will start seeing effect. You just have to do some exercises, and a lot of people think that cardio is the best form to reduce weight and stuff like that. Is weightlifting. When you do weight, cardio is absolutely important. I'm not saying it's not important, but then it's not the number one exercise for weight reduction.
Loss.
For weight loss, do weight lifting, do actual exercise, put a stimulus on your body, and your body will now adapt and change. Because remember, Le Chatelier's law, remember, when an external force is being exerted on the system changes its structure to minimize the effect of the force. So when you're putting exercise and taking weights and putting on the body, your body will not have to adapt, right? So cardio is good for your heart and for your cardio, but not necessarily for weight loss.
Hold on, I scrolled up to see somebody said, how about hormonal imbalance? And then another person said, can you elaborate more on hair relaxers and why kids hair relaxers are bad? We've spoken about hair relaxers, all these chemicals and wig
Yeah.
and glue and essentially, if you have PCOS, stay out of it. If you don't have PCOS, so work on staying out of it. But maybe we can talk about the hormonal imbalance, like foods, diets that we can use to correct that. If you want to talk about that briefly.
Yeah, so I did say that you need to go if you have PCOS, or if your family has a history of PCOS or fibroids and all these ovarian diseases. You will need to go on, for example, for PCOS, you need to go on anti-androgenic diet. For example, stuff like yarrow. You need to be taking your antioxidant, right? So get your berries, get your strawberries, your pomegranate. Oh, an amazing one right there. Yarrow is flour. Yarrow flour is very, very good, and it's anti-androgenic, and it's been used for a long time back in the day for people that have PCOS. You can actually Google it. Your chia seeds, your flax seeds. These are all good stuff that will basically scavenge all the reactive nitrogen oxygen species and the chemicals that you've actually put in your body to be gotten rid of. Now, unfortunately, the reason why I said that women who have PCOS should stay away from hair relaxers, hair products, because they do contain stuff like PFOS. Now, PFOS is a forever chemical. It does not get rid. Your body does not get rid of it. It will stay there forever until you're dead.
What?
Yeah, and it's been shown that some of the things, especially like the phthalates, the bisphenol A, the PFOS, the PFAS, are very much in a high concentration in Black women's consumed products. So maca root, yes, maca root is an amazing one. Maca root is an amazing one. Yarrow, your antioxidative foods, it is going to help you so much. So, yeah,
But somebody,
personally,
somebody talked about beetroot and carrots earlier.
yeah,
You think like it's a good combination to blend and drink?
carrot is absolutely important because it contains your vitamin A. It's good for your eyes. It's good. Carrots contain a lot of. I mean, when it comes to your veggies, for instance, all your veggies are really good. Naturally they contain antioxidants. Right now, carrots. I know that they're very good for your eyes, right? But if you're doing maca root and carrots, is always a good thing to take. But yeah, I mean, again, some people do say that they're taking their vegetables and stuff like that. See, the problem is you can actually be taking your vegetables, but the way you're cooking it and your boiling point is the problem. Because you may be taking the carrot or you may be eating your veggies and all these kind of things. However, some of them you've already activated the chemical before you even put in your body. So it is basically going to go here and come out. You have to learn some things are eaten either raw or activated a little bit or steamed, or like you need to know the boiling point, the activation point of these chemicals. And that's why gastroenterology is an important thing. You need to get a cookbook, right? Not just some people, they even eat pasta and the pasta is already looking like very soft. Like you're literally introducing carbohydrates directly to your body. And your body's not going to do anything with it. It's just going to absorb it and push it inside your adipose tissues and just, go and die with it. You know what I'm saying? So allow your body to, because the enzymes are there to digest, to munch on something, to process things. And if you don't give them anything to process and you're just giving them readily made, it's just going to absorb and it's just going to kill you, basically. So it is very important that we learned that it is good that you're eating and the food is tasty, but has it got any nutritional values? That is a question we need to ask ourselves.
Yeah.
And most of the time we're putting the right ingredients in the food. However, it has no nutritional value because we already like overcooked it. We've destroyed the chemicals that are good for us already. So it's like it's just sitting on our belly and just not doing anything.
And that's the most painful part because you think, oh, I'm eating everything, I'm eating my vegetables, I'm eating my fruits, and it's still not working
Yeah,
because
you're just wasting your time. For example, broccoli. Broccoli is an amazing plant, amazing flower. It has anti-cancer properties. But I'm so sorry, if you're boiling broccoli, you're just wasting. You're just wasting it. Broccoli must be steamed nicely. You steam it nicely so that your body can actually now have the ingredient that it needs for the anti-cancer properties to be activated. Now, if you boil it, guess what? A lot of the times you boil it and then you remember once as you're taking it, you see the water being green and stuff. Like
yeah.
you might as well just drink that water instead.
See, and that's how meat consume. I feel like when people are making like contemporary stew, and then they boil the contemporary separate before they come and put in, just because contemporary is not that hard. Oh. You just
Exactly. Yeah,
you
just
cook.
leave it there. Leave it in. Allow it. So I think there's a lot that we actually need to learn when it comes to health and even the eating, right? And that's why we don't. You see, I'm not gonna say that Black people, our eating habits, like our diet is horrible. It's just that the boiling points and the way we cook it is not. We don't actually have a study onto how. Some people will say, "Oh, palm nut is bad. Palm nut oil is absolutely bad for you," and stuff like that. Is not necessarily. bad for you. It actually contains some good stuff, some healthy stuff. But like the way you were cooking it, if you're, for example, some people even use olive oil. They literally fry things
Oh,
with olive oil. Like you are literally causing more harm to your body than actually good. Olive oil should never be used to fry anything.
mm,
Like, you know, olive oil is absolutely fantastic. And you know what? One thing about oils are the only thing that do not go through your gas system. It just gets absorbed. So when you're eating good, it goes to your lymphoid system straight away.
mm.
So when you're eating, like when you're taking good olive oil, it's so good for your heart. But when you start frying olive oil, poison, complete poison. Like there is no, so you see how something so good for your body, when not known how to input it there, is gonna be the same thing that was gonna kill you.
So which one would you recommend for like high temperature cooking? Say if I want to fry fish. For me
Why are
these
you
days,
frying it? Why are you not
decided,
putting it inside the oven?
that's what's for me. I've stopped
Yeah,
frying a lot of things. For like
yeah.
fish, chicken, I would put it in. I would put like garlic, onion, ginger, blend, put it in the air fryer for some minutes, and I'll eat it. But some people still want fried fish. So like, what oil would they?
Personally, I would advise you to put it in the oven, not even the air fryer. But hey, just if air fryer works for you, that's fine. But I would advise you to put it inside the oven.
I saw that video too about air fryers. Like, it's a no go.
If we go that again, if we got that, we're gonna get into rabbit hole. So I mean, it's still using the air fryer is still better than frying it. So
So
um
right now we are talking about layers,
the,
layers of
this
toxicity.
is yeah it's such a deep thing, and toxicology is something that I feel like the black community that, and truthfully, we have a very good system naturally. If not, we would have extinct, because the things that we actually do, we generally have a very good system, a good system. And so people that are struggling and with diseases and stuff, trust me, if you didn't have the system that you have, you would have actually like gone through a lot of issues. So I think this thing, blood pressure thing, has been
Blood, yeah,
coming
you
up.
keep commenting blood pressure. We talked about blood pressure
We
earlier.
did talk about blood pressure
Changing your
earlier.
lifestyle, getting some rest, avoiding stress, um,
Drinking your
sleep,
hibiscus tea,
drinking
sleeping.
hibiscus.
As a woman, sleeping 10 hours, very important. Not getting into unnecessary argumentations, not fighting, your partners, just naturally being peaceful. These are all good ways to, you know,
Not
decrease your.
fighting partners, so we actually increase your volume. Increase your volume, I say. Be feminine. Don't be masculine. Let your don't activate your testosterone hormones.
Yeah, exactly. Because testosterone, like I said earlier on, is the aggressive hormone, right? And is predominantly is predominant in men and not women. And so, but the thing is, people that suffer from PCOS, and that's the whooping majority of black women do suffer from PCOS. You see, that is a huge problem in the black community, and these are going to be our wives. You know, these are our wives and our mothers and our sisters. So essentially, when you actually say, "Oh, don't put makeup," you're gonna fight. But it's like we are the consequences. I mean, we are the bearers of those consequences. You know what I'm saying? Because like, if you now, if the makeups and the phthalates in your braids and stuff like that are now going to cause PCOS, hormonal imbalance, by causing endocrine disruption, we are going to be the people that are going to have to deal with your now high levels of testosterone and androgen, you know? And when testosterone is in you, you want to fight, you know? You want to take risks. And how can you want to fight? The man also want to fight. Literally, that's a disaster for like a recipe for disaster. You're just going to be fighting, and you want to be taking risk, like unnecessary risk, because that's what men do. Testosterone is aggressive. It will kill you. Like, that's why we die early. Testosterone will kill you. It's an amazing, beautiful hormone when it's in men, but when it's in women, again, it's still in women, but very low levels. When it's increased, is absolutely dangerous.
Problematic. Somebody was asking if epigenetics Makes black women have high levels of testosterone.
Epigenetics play a role, absolutely, because I did explain earlier on. For example, someone may not necessarily even have PCOS. Now, PCOS is the number one reason why a woman would actually have high levels of testosterone. But then, if a woman generally has a combative behavior, she wants to be fighting, she wants to be picking, she may not even have abnormal levels of testosterone as a woman, but over time, what she does is she actually changes her the structure of her genes in terms of like when it comes to behavior, because behavior can be inherited. Back in the day, we didn't know that behaviors can be inheritable, but now we know through epigenetics. So when a woman, you see, when you find a woman that is always calm, gentle, chances that her children are going to be calm and gentle are very high.
Mm-hmm.
Yet people will think that behaviors are not inheritable. They are inheritable. Environment plays a role, but also at a genetic level, you've changed your genes, the structure of your gene, that chances are your child is also going to be inheriting that combative nature of yours that you've actually done to, that they've inherited in terms of like the gene structure from you. And they're going to be combative. So when they say the tree doesn't fall, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, it's absolutely so true. Behaviors can be inherited apart from being learned. So imagine a combination of your mother being combative and you also inheriting that gene from them. You're staying in that environment. You also have the gene. That one recipe for divorce and massive issues in relationships.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate your time, information, and I really appreciate over 100 people here watching us right now. And then they've been so interactive, asking questions,
They truly
dropping
have.
comments. Michelle could be not say I am maybe I am God who say I am with God who say they don't trust us.
Alone with God. Don't mind him. Don't mind him. He's not a serious person.
Oh, you know him, eh?
That's my brother.
Oh,
He's not him and Galican. They are not serious people. Please don't take them seriously.
oh, see, he didn't answer his questions.
Don't take him seriously.
Oh,
What were his questions?
oh, see, I think it was a person or maybe I think first it was the hairline, and then he said
No, the hairline there. There's no chance for him. He's
it's
yeah.
gone.
The hairline is gone. Even at 26, he had lost his hair. So there's no way.
Oh,
He's now almost 30. So yeah, there's no hope. He's just
oh.
turkey.
But if you come and cry, I don't know because I don't. Your son say I'm in phone cool. I didn't.
Let me touch on this. Before we go. There's a rampant there's a massive increase in kidney issues in Ghana and particularly in Africa.
Yeah.
Honestly, you know why that is the case? It is because of the sort of like the dragons, the red sun, the Viagra's, the herbal stuff that they be taking. They have a lot of names for them. They call some a tribute to like so many weird names. Yes, dragons. They
Hey.
are basically aphrodisiac. Sansu oil, like they crazy. Some of them make a concoction of sansu oil and dragon and red sun, all in the name of lasting in bed. What they do is they have a massive effect on your adrenergic system. So it's going to activate your beta receptors and it's going to allow your heart to beat at a very strong sort of like contraction. So boom, 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 so that your blood flow to your penis is going to be very high. Now, guess what? Once you've lasted 3 hours, 4 hours in bed, and you satisfy your woman, guess who is left with all the bad stuff? Your kidneys. Your kidneys are left with all the toxicants now that it has to get rid of. And now it's going to do a lot of work. Your liver will have to do a lot of work to get rid of it. And so eventually, guess what happens? Eventually, your kidneys are going to, your GFR is going to decrease. The GFR is your glomerulus filtration rate. It's going to decrease. Your CDK, which is your chronic kidney disease, the rate, the score is going to, now, of course, be all over the place, and slowly you'll be coming up with kidney disease. Who actually see the beautiful thing is naturally, if you're doing 12 minutes in bed, that's the average. 12 minutes. Please do not go and die for anyone. Those concoctions are not good for you. And if you really want to last good in bed as a young man, you see, the moment you start taking your antioxidants, the cloves and the stuff that I've given you, it should be so good for you. Exercise at least 20 minutes per day. That increases your level of your blood flow a lot. Make sure that you're taking your ashwagandha. Like, eat well. If 12 minutes is not enough for you, that should be able to take you to 45 minutes without having any issues. The sansu oils and the all these kind of things are gonna be very, very dangerous for you. And eventually, guess what? Some of them, they even the oil, they cream it around their shaft, their dick, right? What that is essentially doing is killing the nerve, so you're not gonna feel anything in your nerves. So that's why you last longer. If you end up with nervous system diseases, who are you gonna blame?
Why would people do this to themselves? Hey,
Some of them, they put it there, they wrap it up with foil and rubber, so that
what?
yes, yes,
That
that's
is
what they do.
wild.
And so, yeah, the reason why, a young man, you see that, oh, he's had a heart attack, because it's basically having a huge impact on your, heart rhythm, your sinus rhythm, you're going to have a lot of issues, technically. So, gentlemen who wants to, and the thing is, the truth of the matter is, the woman that you're trying so hard to please, when you're dead and gone, someone else will come and take her. It's not like she's going to wait. Like, why you want to kill yourself? Like, these are not good for you.
For the women. Somebody was asking how to steam the broccoli. I think if you put like water in your saucepan, then you put the broccoli in your colander or in your strainer, and then you cover it. So the steam will get on the broccoli without putting the broccoli in the water. That would, and I think that we can do that to consume. If consume, just put it in the stew, and the steam will cook it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone said, I skip breakfast in the morning and eat one meal a day, but still gain weight. What do I do? See, the thing is, this is a very, very important question that I don't know how much time you have, Joy, but I will just touch on it. I mean, I don't know what time, how long this is going to be, but
Yeah, we can talk before
break,
about
breakfast, right? It's not necessarily, breakfast is not what you have in the morning. It's just a name, okay? Breakfast means you're breaking your fast, okay? So there's a reason why they say that it is the most important meal of the day. It's not because you have to eat in the morning. Whatever you're introducing your body after you've slept is so important, because that will be the first ingredient that your body has to work with. So the fact that you're not eating in the morning and you're eating in the afternoon doesn't mean that you skip breakfast, or it should be a good thing. But if you're introducing fufu straight away to your body, you're not done anything. Like, you're literally just, there's no point. And you know what? What essentially happens is, if you're already, when your body has fasted and is not really gotten any food, and you're starting to hit it with something that has a lot of high sugars, you're going to have a spike in your blood sugar levels, and that's not good for you. So naturally, you would want to even keep your blood sugar levels at the base, like a very good level, so constant. That's why I advise people that want to actually, reduce their weight, not to fast too much. Do intermittent fasting by all means, but like, eat small portions over the day. Some people say, oh, I only eat once, but then when you go and see the portion that you're having that one, it's even worse. You're killing yourself. So you might as well just separate that portion over a period of time, and then you keep your blood sugar levels at a good level, like constant across the day, and that is the best way to go for ahead with it. So the one time that you're eating doesn't mean that you should lose weight. It depends on the portion that you're taking at that one time, and as soon as you hit your body with the glucose, it just spikes and your body is just confused. So, and I would say this: as soon as you finish eating and you want to sleep, there's something wrong with the food. Food should not want to make you sleep as soon as you eat it. because it is energy. It should provide you with energy. Why is the food making you want to sleep? Any food that you eat that makes you want to sleep means that food is not good for your system. It is
Aye.
basically slowing your system down.
Okay. Now, hey, Doctor talks on you. Was it 2 minutes? Take it or leave it. Honestly, you mentioned magnesium intake. Which form is better?
Sorry, which one?
Magnesium. Which
Mag- ma-
form?
yes. So magnesium. I take oh the magnesium. Is it cyrate? Hold on. Let me quickly. Mag- magnesium cyrate. Can you Google quickly check it if that's a magnesium cyrate?
Let's see. Magnesium citrate.
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 Yeah, magnesium citrate or
That's
magnesium glycinate.
yes, magnesium citrate or glycinate. Yeah, citrate. That's the one that I take. It's really good. Really really good. And you should see the good thing about magnesium is that your body doesn't store it, so it takes what it needs, and then the rest it just flushes out. Okay, so you don't have to really worry about the storage of it. Vitamin D3 is fat soluble, so that one you would want to still monitor and go to your doctors over every 3 months to actually check if your levels are good, and then you actually like have a plan of maintaining it. So that is about it. Someone is asking if
Okay.
I'm married. I'm not married. I'm single.
Oh, so because I was asking,
Glycinate.
the thing, the aluminum foil and the dragon things, do they only affect the men? I think it will affect the women too. So if
So
you get
no,
somebody
it
using
won't.
on you, yeah, and
So they wash it off. So at maximum, it will throw off your
ah,
pH. At max, it will throw off your pH, but you wouldn't really have a you know you wouldn't really have any sort of like health issues like that. But it might, because of the chemicals, it might throw off your pH. But no, But if he's wearing condom, then you're fine. But even like latex is still gonna, what I'm saying. So you just have to be careful. That's all.
okay. Which I take magnesium glycinate and ashwagandha at night.
That's a perfect combination for an amazing sleep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a perfect combination for an amazing sleep. Magnesium, remember, magnesium is a relaxer. So when you take magnesium, your muscles become relaxed. Your muscle will get, you're not gonna be tense anymore. So you're taking magnesium glycinate with your vitamin D3 and your K2, it is gonna basically relax you so much. Now, remember, because, and I'll say this, unfortunately, the people that I said that were here earlier, they didn't really hear this, and it's very important that when you're taking your vitamin D3, because it's a fat soluble, right? You might be taking it, and your hydrochloric acid in your stomach will actually not allow it to go. It will basically like destroy it. So you'd want to take something that is fat. You might want to take my
Avocado.
avocado. Take your avocado with it, or take your salmon with it. So that what essentially happens is your avocado is basically engaging your hydrochloric acid and allowing your vitamin D to, pass so that it can actually get absorbed in your gut for you to get your levels up. So you would want to take it with in the morning or whenever you're taking it with the salmon, your fat, good fat, which I take. I use avocado. I have one avocado every morning with my vitamin D3, and it helps with absorption. Remember, avocado also has a lot of good fat. And the good fat is very good for your brain too, because remember, the chills that your neurons are covered with is fat. So when you're having, people think that fat is bad. Fat is good. It depends on what kind of fat. If you're eating animal fat, maybe not good. But if you're eating plant fat, it's absolutely fantastic. Because some people, when you ask them 2 plus 2, they can't even say 4, because the normal propagation of your action potential through your brain cells, when they have the Mali sheath, it will have to jump, right? So the covering is made up of fat. When you have nice, good fat, it actually also help with brain health, and so you're gonna be very fast. You're gonna things that I'm saying talking about right now. I've studied them maybe 10 years ago, but I still
Hmm.
remember them. You know,
Remember.
it's brain health. So yeah.
Yes. Now, me say alone with God equals doc is open for relationship that will lead to marriage. Are you a sports person?
Please don't. I told you guys, don't mind those alone with God and Gallican. Don't mind them.
Really? Salmon differentiates. Hey, the one we call salmon in Ghana is mackerel. Oh. The salmon is the pink with the orange one.
The pink one with the white lines between them, that's the
Yeah.
fat. That is the good fat. It contains a lot of omega 3, and omega 3 is absolutely important for to combat inflammation and is very good for your brain. So what I recommend people, if you really have, some sort of like inflammation going on in your body and stuff, and you have, brain fogs and stuff, I would tell you to take cod liver oil. Cod liver oil is an absolutely important one because it has the right proportion of vitamin A and vitamin D3 as well, but it also has omega 3 fatty acids, which is absolutely important.
What
Sardines
about
are
the
good.
omega?
Sardines are really good too because they are really good for your brain. Yeah.
What about
Sardines,
omega? Omega
omega
three.
3,
It's not
omega
as good
3.
as cod liver, right?
So the cod liver oil contains omega 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the cod liver oil has vitamin A, vitamin D3, and omega 3. So vitamin A is good for your eyes health. The vitamin D3 we already know is absolutely important. Is vital for your body's health, and omega 3 is absolutely important for brain health. Okay, absolutely important for brain health and for just normal inflammation. Because when you have less omega 3 in your body system and a lot of omega 6, when the proportion is not balanced, you're going to have a lot of issue. So a lot of people actually, the reason why your child is probably not doing well in school, you probably think so are born on born yet. They're not like they're not smart. You're not having the brain healthy food, like foods that are gonna enrich the neurons to sort of like function properly. Because if you want your muscles to be stronger, what do you eat? You eat protein, right? If you want your neurons to work properly, what do? You give them the good fats that are gonna allow, because they are made up of fat. The fat is what actually covers them. The myelin sheaths are made of fat. So you want to give what the brain needs for it to function properly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I think so. I take it 2 weeks. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't come forward. Wabre, Wabre. Yeah, the end. What's that? Can't we good for cooking? Oh, like good
Keun.
for cooking beans,
What is keun?
like saltpeter. You see
What is
that
that?
thing that they put on beans so that it will cook faster?
Can't you just soak it for? Can't you just soak the beans for a long period of time before you
Yeah, I
you
think when
cook?
you soak it overnight, it gets softer. But another thing that I learned is you can put baking powder, just a
Baking
little bit.
soda,
Yeah,
baking
baking
powder.
powder, or baking soda, any of them.
Okay.
But I
I
don't
mean,
know health wise.
oh, someone say okra.
They put it
Okra is
in
not
okra so it becomes slimy. That thing.
okay. That person that said okra reminded me. If you're a man and you like eating okra a lot, you're gonna suffer from impotency at some point. Okra is absolutely not good for men. It's good for women,
Hey,
but not for men. Yeah.
breaking news.
No, it's because it contains some. I've forgotten what exactly the chemical is, but it contains certain things that actually has side effects on men with in terms of erection. But it's absolutely important and good for women in terms of like lubrication and making for your vaginal wall lining and stuff like that, for the mucus production. But for men, you don't actually necessarily need mucus production. So when you're taking a lot of okra, it's actually bad for you. You can actually like do your own research. I'm not saying anything that I've actually not read or like not doesn't make sense. So yeah, a lot of people
And what
do eat a lot of
about
okra.
okra water for easy delivery? I don't know if you've seen.
I've seen, yeah. I mean, the science behind it, the logic behind it makes sense. It actually makes a lot of sense, and not just the delivery, because okra actually contains the sliminess of it. I think it's a plant that contains a lot of mucin, right? So it's gonna be good, and I know a lot of ladies that take it as well for sexual purposes, sexual intercourse purposes. I mean, they've a lot of people have actually testified to it that it's made them really, you know, enjoy their sexual relationships. So yeah, it works. I mean, I'm not a woman, but hearing what people say, and I don't think there's any research like that on the okra water, but it's just the eyeball statistics and what people have actually said about it. And at some point, I think last year, a lot of women were on their okra water. A lot of people did do it, and they've testified to the fact that it's amazing. So
Alrighty. There are no more questions. We call it a day. Obviously, let me round from women. And women like okra. Eh? They said the men stop eating okra. It's not good. It's not good.
yeah,
Magnesium. I take magnesium every night because I take it every night with the avocado after dinner.
it's beautiful. It's you see, it's absolutely beautiful, and people will tell you, people that actually take this will tell you how the quality of their sleep has improved significantly. And when you actually have magnesium deficiency, it is a very dangerous thing for heart palpitations. And when your potassium levels are also dysregulated, because if your magnesium and your magnesium and your vitamin D3 is low, then get ready for heart palpitations, like and arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats, and yeah, they are all linked basically.
Somebody was asking about the guts, and I was saying you said Greek yogurt.
So for gut health, eat a lot of fibers. Make sure that you're having your greens. And I know, like, a lot of black people, we don't actually like to eat greens. So make sure that if it's not a substitution, but you can have a lot of grains and make sure that you're eating your Greek yogurt. The Greek yogurt, the one that is not sweetened by anything. Get your kombucha. The ones that contain your live bacteria, live cultures. They are really good. Yeah, even fermented corn, you know, any fermented thing. Sometimes, you can. There is this tea that some people do. They do ferment pineapple. They do some drink that they ferment pineapple, and it's also very, very good. Any fermented thing is gonna be good for your gut, actually. And if you are someone who likes to drink alcohol, please cut it completely, because alcohol is bad for your health. Apple cider is amazing. I take a shot every morning. Thank you for bringing that up. It's amazing. It also helps with your glucose regulation. When you take it in the morning on an empty stomach, amazing. And but
The
make sure
apple,
that you take it as a shot.
is it the apple cider vinegar, the
Apple
popular
cider
one?
vinegar. Yeah, apple cider vinegar. Take it as a shot. Yeah. That's about that. It's and yeah. So I was talking about alcohol. Alcohol is absolutely horrible. I know some people say, your red wine is good for your heart and stuff like that. Any form of alcohol is not good for you. In fact, the CDC had pushed for a label called to put this could cause cancer on alcohol. It is not good for you. Listen, if you want if you want to improve your heart health, eat your grapes and eat your fermented things, and take your CoQ10. There's a If anyone has a heart issue, right, and they really want help with it, go on to your vitamin shop. Go and get a CoQ10.
Cool.
CoQ10. It's a coenzyme factor, CoQ10. It's an amazing thing for to decrease heart issues, and people that take multivitamins that also has alpha tocopherol, it actually causes cancer, and is very dangerous when men actually take it. Any man that is taking alpha tocopherol is absolutely dangerous, because it increases your chances of having prostate cancer. There is this clinical trials that was done in selenium. It was done in selenium, I think, in the USA. And the reason why it's called the select clinical trials, because they were trying to heal men who had prostate cancer, and see the effect of alpha tocopherol, which is vitamin E, right? And they saw that men that were taking the vitamin E had a high chance of developing prostate cancer. And so, people would think that vitamin E is good. In a lot of your multivitamin, stuff, you will have alpha tocopherol written there. It is not good for you, especially if you're a man. You would want to take the alpha tocotrienol. That one is more expensive, especially with the one from Anato. Is good for you. Is the most potent because the alpha tocopherol, what it does is it basically makes your cells rigid. Okay, but the tocotrienol is the active form, and that one is a great scavenger, right? Yeah, it's a great scavenger, and it's more expensive than the alpha tocopherol, but the tocotrienol is the best. So please, when they say that, oh, I'm taking vitamin E, chances are you're taking the alpha tocopherol, which is gonna cause cancer. It is crazy.
Yesterday, I went to check my
Yeah.
multivitamin
Which one do they
ingredients and
have?
I saw alpha tocopherol.
Yeah. Yeah, please check in a bit.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah.
Where I
You know,
do the thing.
yeah, and the thing is, I don't want you to just blindly go online and check, do your research, because the thing is, knowledge is power, and if you don't know, you don't know. But they put the tocopherol in there because it's the easiest one, it's the cheapest one, and
Yeah.
yeah, it is just gonna, yeah, and again, see, Dr. Adu said that the tocotrienol, it actually prevents multiple sclerosis and it also prevents stroke. In fact, they have even done clinical trials for that when it comes to cancers, and it actually can prevent stroke, multiple sclerosis, which is a brain disorder, and it actually has an anti-cancer property. It is a bit expensive, and I would tell you to take the Anato one, Anato, which is a natural source. But yeah, your tocopherol, please chuck in a bin. It's not good for you. It's gonna kill you.
Yeah, bro. More than that you die. Look at this. That then there you die. Oh, that before you die, no. So you don't have to.
Yeah, yeah. So it's true. So, and one thing about multivitamins, I'm not a fan of multivitamins, to be completely honest with you, because they have a little bit of everything. And for example, when you're taking, sometimes when you put certain chemicals together, they prevent some being absorbed in the first place. So what is the chance? Like, it's literally like a money wasting company that people buy them and it's like, oh, I'm taking multivitamin. When I was vitamin D deficient, I was taking multivitamin. Completely rubbish.
Right.
Completely rubbish. So you might be thinking I'm taking my vitamin, my multivitamin. The levels of that multivitamin is completely, it's rubbish because your body's not going to absorb it. Like, it has so tiny of the dose, because remember, everything is dose. So the
And
multivitamin is rubbish.
everything is just one small dose. So like you know.
Exactly. So you have a big thing of complete nonsense. And you're
Right.
thinking you're actually like, you're just wasting your enzymes in your body by digesting complete
Oh, Mama,
nonsense.
I was asking about brain fog.
It's painful. Brain fog is absolutely painful. And brain fog, the number one cause of brain fog is vitamin D deficiency. As you are speaking right now, you don't even know what you're talking about. Like, you will forget what you're doing, because your vitamin D is gonna cause that, and your magnesium is also gonna do that to you. So, if you have brain fog, please make sure that you are supplementing on this. Now, again, I say, for your remember, actually, magnesium is that vitamin that is exactly directly involved in gene expression. Like, it literally is involved in gene translation and transcription. Now, of course, I'm not going to go deeper into this because, like, yeah, this is too deep. But magnesium is directly regulating your gene levels. So without that, imagine what will actually cause, what would be your side effects. And so, I think someone also wrote that L-threonine will actually also do that. It's absolutely important. But one thing I would tell you is, you start off with the right ones. The multivitamins, please cut them off. Don't buy them anymore. They just waste of money. Yeah.
I would say a good example of healthy breakfast.
A good example of healthy breakfast, I would actually say that in the morning, get your good fat in. Get your, I mean, I take 4 eggs every morning.
Huh?
Yeah, I take 4 eggs every morning. It has great, it's a great source of vitamin D. Now they say, oh, they say egg has cholesterol and all these kind of things. Da, 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 da. Listen, the truth of the matter is, if you're exercising, if you're drinking your water, you're taking your vitamin D, you're taking, you don't have to. Boiled or fried. I do fry. I don't even like, not scrambled, but like the yolk, I make it runny. I make the yolk runny. Yes, so runny yolk, and then I have my avocado. I don't have bread in the morning because I'm not trying to I'm not trying to introduce any carbs in my body for the early morning. And then I have my green tea, or I'll just have my hibiscus tea in the morning, and that's it until until like lunchtime. And lunchtime I had quinoa. Quinoa is a substitution for rice. Sometimes when the quinoa is too much, because sometimes it doesn't have any taste. So I do like maybe if it's like three, I would do 2/3 quinoa and 1/3 rice. Even the rice, brown rice. So you have a good and I just do like vegetable veg with prawns. I make like a little stew with that, and then I just have it. So yeah, and then in the evening when you're going to sleep, you would want to not introduce heavy food for your body to, because see, when sometimes when people sleep in the night and they are actually snoring, it's like you spark a Lamborghini. What essentially your body is basically trying to do is, I'm struggling metabolizing whatever food you introduced in me, and sometimes also sleep apnea. And if you suffer from sleep apnea and you're actually like snoring a lot, and you're also having bankum before bed, is a
Right.
terrible combination. So you would want to give something very light to your body. And think about it. When you eat light and you go to bed and you wake up in the morning, you don't even feel hungry. But when you eat so heavy and you go to bed and you wake up in the morning, you feel hungry. You feel so hungry because, yeah, it's not very nutritious. Um, so yeah, that's
Somebody was asking if ferroglobin is good for men.
is this okay for men? Ferroglobin, what are you taking it for? What are you taking it for? If you have like low oxygen levels in your blood, then okay, or like if you have what's it called, anemia or something, then that's fine. But what are you taking the you need to know why you're actually taking it for, and not because it's good for men. You just go and um you're taking it for red blood cells. I mean, if you're iron deficient, then by all means take your irons, because then you remember your red blood cells has the four ions, right? So they will have to bind 8 molecular oxygen, right? Okay, so if you're anemic, then by all means. But if you're not anemic, why would you want to go and take ferroglobin? And if you have low ferritin, please by all means follow your doctors. Is zinc supplements good? I've taken zinc before. I sincerely think that when it comes to those things, I would actually go for a natural source of it. If you can, go for the natural source. For vitamin D3 and K2, chances are you're not gonna get it through your food. But for some stuff like zinc and stuff like that, I would recommend you to take the natural form, so that then it does not go and cause toxicity in your body as well. But something like magnesium is not gonna cause toxicity because your body doesn't store it. It just takes what it needs and then it gets rid of the rest. So something like 350 milligram of magnesium is fine.
So what would be a natural form of zinc?
Um, that's a good question. I have not done research into that, so I may not necessarily know. But you can actually like Google that.
Yeah, natural form of zinc. Let me go there.
Yeah.
No, somebody was asking if you can talk about the snoring. Or see if you eat banku, When you
The
snore.
snoring is a disease. It's a medical condition. It's called sleep apnea, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes there is like blockade in your nostrils, and sometimes you have to do surgery, and then you can absolutely get that sorted out. Someone says zinc will be more of greens. Yeah, so your leafy greens will contain a lot of the zinc. Your leafy greens will also contain a lot of the vitamin K2 that, of course, because you're not taking your leafy greens, you will have to supplement. Yeah, you're not gonna get it.
Alrighty. Oh, good. It's been good, 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 good,
Yeah,
good.
it's been amazing. I've really enjoyed it.
Everybody, let's see what I and not with God. Vomiting. What causes that? Vomiting. What causes vomiting?
So vomiting can be caused by a lot of issues. Whether you have maybe stomach ulcers, so maybe you may have some underlying issues with stomach ulcers. So what causes the stomach ulcer is this bacteria called H. pylori. It's very aggressive, and so if you actually start vomiting, and you've not eaten maybe like a diary or something that has caused, a reaction to your stomach, then you would want to go and do a screening for your doctor to see whether you're actually coming up with a stomach ulcer. That's one. Two, maybe you've actually eaten a dairy or like something that is expired, like milk. Milk will do that to you. Any dairy thing that is expired will basically make you, vomit. And sometimes too, when you're having, mental health issues, could also make you vomit. As crazy as it sounds,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, when you're having like mental health issues, you could start vomiting. So because it's a reaction, because remember, whatever is happening here will also affect your gut, and whatever is happening here will affect your here. So it's called the gut brain axis. Okay, so if your brain is not healthy, you could be vomiting. If H. pylori is causing stomach ulcers, you could be vomiting, or even stomach cancers. As I mean, that's the extreme, but like that's also a possibility. When you have stomach cancer, you could also be vomiting, and you can have a lot of things coming out of your, or when you have, you know, when you have your, is it epiglottis? Is that a right valve? The doctors here, please help me. There is this valve that basically prevents the backflow of the hydrochloric acid. If that is basically broken or like malfunction, then you have the content of your stomach now flowing back. And because peristalsis is a movement that goes like that, it shouldn't be, you know, coming back up. So yeah.
Acid reflux.
Yeah, acid reflux is a different thing altogether. Acid reflux is basically when you basically have like acidic food or gaseous foods, and in fact, the acid reflux, the symptoms is not necessarily vomiting. It's mostly like chest pain. Some people when they have an acid reflux, they say, "I'm gonna have a heart attack." I'm like, please, if you are having a heart attack, you wouldn't be this chilled and calm. And one of the first signs of a heart attack is your left arm. You will feel like so much pain in your left arm. And then, it's like we call it a radiating pain. The heart is where the problem is, but then it's your left arm and shoulders is where you're gonna feel, the pain at. And sometimes, when you're having a heart attack, most of the time your heart actually gives you it just gives you a tiny, impulses, so when you actually feel that and you actually don't take it seriously, that's when the massive one is gonna come. So it always give you a pre-warning before the real one comes. So don't ignore when you're having like a persistent pain in your left shoulder and your left arm. If you've not gone to the gym and you've not done anything, strenuous on your muscles, and you're having like, pains, like a very sharp pain in your left arm, the chances are that your heart has radiated that pain to your left arm and your shoulders.
Slim tea, I don't think it works. Don't. Anna,
Slim tea, no, it doesn't work.
I don't think
It
it
doesn't
works.
work. You cannot take a shortcut.
Somebody was asking, can women take CO Q10?
CoQ10, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, both men and women. CoQ10 is a coenzyme 10. It is absolutely important for heart health. It's amazing. I've taken it for some time. It's absolutely important. It's so good. You decrease your chances of, especially when you have cardiovascular disease in your family, you decrease your chances significantly when you take CoQ10. Yeah. But what the one I would advise you the most when you're taking CoQ10, please also take alpha tocotrienol, which is I can't stress enough on that. So you see the cardinal ones. Let me recapitulate: your vitamin D3, your K2, your magnesium glycinate, your CoQ10, and your alpha tocopherol. If you're taking these like as a supplement form and you're actually like trying to get a balanced diet, you're good. Sincerely, you're actually good.
Okay. Yeah, maybe then
What
I'll.
kills what kills women's libido?
Stinginess.
Oh God, medically or like socially?
Stinginess.
Stingy. I think that one is number
Told
one.
you. What was number upper in the left upper corner?
I think a lot of people have a lot of questions. What if you basically do a series, or something? If you actually have a free time or something,
Yeah, I think we should just like we can just make a Q and A. Ask your questions, then the doctor will answer. Ask your questions, then because
yeah, yeah, because a lot of people are asking. I think people have a lot of questions. So, and
yeah.
I'm sure you're actually really tired because you went to church. So maybe if you're free next Sunday or something, I mean, I'm here. If you wanna be
Okay.
doing it, as a series, I'm more than happy to. I'll be coming on
Alone with
to.
God. See, I'm using skincare, but the thing is, see, the chemicals we are talking. I'm going back to my shea butter because I use everyone's skin. I use the cleanser and then I use the serum. I'm allergic to the retinol oil, so I stopped. Whenever I use it, I get rashes.
Rare rashes, yeah. Okay,
So
your
I
body's
stop.
basically
So
telling you it's not good for
I
you.
just use the moisturizer, sunscreen sometimes, and then the um, serum.
Can certain foods cause heartburns? Yes, when you're eating a lot of spicy foods like pepper in the during bedtime, like close to bedtime, you will have that. When you're having acidic food, like you're having an orange before bed, like these kind of like things, having what's it called, lemon before bed. These are all citric foods. Having what's it called? Tomato is also acidic. So when you're having a lot of acidic food before bed, it will actually cause acid reflux and it will cause you heartburn because what essentially is happening is it's not even your heart because the acid has reflux back into your thoracic cage and it's basically around your heart. That acid is not meant to be there. Your hydrochloric
Laundry.
acid, chloric acid. Sorry, this name is hydrochloric acid is basically going to make your heart react to it, and that's why you have heartburn. But it has nothing to do with your heart. But of course, when you have a lot of backflow of your acid reflux, it also speaks to the fact that your epiglottis may not be intact. So you want to prevent eating these kind of foods closer to your bedtime, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
So, Lucy, what can I take to help reduce pain in my legs after delivering? Oh,
Oh, you have pain in your legs? Are you vitamin D deficient? Or yeah, I think you need to, if it's pain in your legs, if it's not swollen or something, because if it's swollen, then it means that you're having bad circulation. You need to go for walks, try to like do exercise to drain all that fluid. But if it's just pure pain, then I think that you need to go and check for your vitamin D levels and try a supplement for it if you are living in the West. Was taking
Vaseline.
vitamin D though.
Vaseline for
What vitamin D were you taking? Were you taking vitamin D3? Have you checked for your levels already or not? Oily foods, yeah, would also cause heartburn. When you eat it closer to bedtime, it will do that to you. So it basically means that any food that you're taking that will basically cause an eruption of it will react with your hydrochloric acid, which your HCl. when the HCl is like bubbling, like it's reacting, if the effect is it's gonna now sort of like climb back up, and then it will seep into your thoracic cage, and then you have the heartburn. That's basically the anatomy behind it.
But I think that if it's happening frequently, because Sakusia was saying anytime, even when I'm at work, then that see the doctor. If the heartburn is happening frequently.
If it's happening frequently, I would actually go to my doctors and to your doctors and actually check, because that means that your epiglottis, the valve that it regulates, it prevents the backflow of the acid and keeps it contained in your stomach, is not working properly. So I would definitely go for a checkup. And even if you've tried so hard to not take acidic foods, then but sometimes you also need to steady your body.